24th U.S. Open Golf Championship, sponsored by Grainger. With supplies and solutions for every industry, Grainger has the right product for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Hideki Matsuyama shot 66 earlier today, 4 under, and that is the low round in the clubhouse. Anything close to par has been just fine today. Ludwig Oberg leads at 6 under. He is -2 today. Patrick Cantlay, the overnight co-leader, even par on the day, but only 1 shot back at -5. Bryson DeChambeau, 1 under in the clubhouse, 2 shots off the pace. Right now, and for the rest of the evening, the cut line is the question. It stays at 5 over. Among those outside the line right now, Victor Hovland, Ricky Fowler, and Tiger Woods, who has a handful of holes to play. With this report on the U.S. Open, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's. Save $40 on select 5-gallon HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams paint, like Weather Shield, Showcase, or ceiling paint. Plus, save $10 on drywall PVA primer and get free same-day delivery to the job site when you order by 2 p.m. Lowe's knows paint. Lowe's knows pros. Offers valid through 6/14. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Paid actor portrayal. Dude, guess how much I pay for $1 million term life insurance policy?
Gotta be at least $150 a month.
Nope. I got coverage through Ethos all online for less than $70 a month and no medical exam. Just answered a few health questions.
That's impressive. I'm shocked you have life insurance.
Wait, don't you? You have a wife and kids. What if something happens to you? With Ethos, you can start your coverage the same day.
Wow. I'm sold.
Get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
What seems to be the problem?
Doctor, thank goodness. My husband found out Cricket Wireless has 5G plans starting at $15 a month, and his jaw just dropped.
Oh. Did he hear about Cricket's blazing fast 5G?
Yep.
What about their reliable nationwide coverage?
Yes, that too.
I see. Unfortunately, there's no cure. But you will have really fast 5G.
Get jaw-droppingly fast 5G for $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Video may be limited to SD. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply. Subject to change. See store for details.
Life is full of bright moments, but sometimes those moments can seem too far away. Trained and caring crisis specialists in Arizona can assist you with any situation, big or small. Free and confidential help is only one text away, day or night. Text the word HOPE to 4HOPE. That's HOPE to 44673. These moments matter, and so do you. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time
for what? Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it. Welcome, everybody, to a Friday edition of the Daily Blender on this 14th day of June. Can you believe it? We're halfway through June already?
I can't. It's flying by.
Wow.
It's flying by.
This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic, as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Right over there, that's the sexiest man in sports talk radio. That's Keon Rose. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien, our fearless leader, still on as they say over in the Europe, still on holiday. Today, I understand he's at the Pooseum. That's the Dinosaur Poo Museum. And I did get a message from him today that if he has time, he's hoping to get an audience with the Pope if he has time, while he peruses around the Pooseum. And I know one of the missions, we talked about this yesterday on the Daily Blender, that one of the missions for Jeffrey was to get himself one of those petrified pieces of dinosaur poo and use that as a lid on his candy jar on his desk. Because somebody keeps swiping all his candy, and he can't have that. So now they'll have to go through poo to get to his candy. You are texting in the fourth dimension at 888-368-1580. Sun Devil Raul already on the text line. Hello, everybody. TGIF. Hey, it's Harry Carey paying a visit to us today. Hello, Sun Devil Raul. Good to have you along with us. We're looking forward to 3 hours here of 3 hours here of lots of fun. What's wrong, Fifth Letter? What Fifth Letter just jumped on the text line. What's the matter, Fifth Letter? What happened? We'll get to that in a minute. Lots to talk about today. It's a veritable cornucopia, Keon, of sports today. A veritable cornucopia. Like, what prank did ASU football coach Kenny Dillingham do to his team? We'll talk about that. Why does Tom Brady think quarterbacking in the NFL in modern day has gone backwards? What's some of the moves the Diamondbacks might make in the upcoming trade deadline? It's only about 45 days away. It's July 30th. To be exact, to be precise, it ends 6 p.m. Eastern time on July 30th. So we'll talk about that. We've got some college football news. We've got a story about two guys, and this will be like a blender public service announcement for all guys working on the farm. Okay, so that's all coming up here on the show today. But first, Fifth Letter. About last night, after all that verbiage I got from you on this very text line, and all you guys could do there from the Angels is put up one measly point. 11-1 final score, Diamondbacks win. Oh, and it was beautiful too. The Diamondbacks had all kinds. They had all kinds of offense. Christian Walker went off for 2 jacks. And then this one was the heartbreaker right here.
2 runs already in. Newman at third, Carroll at second, Martes at first. Jocko for 2 with a walk. Way back, Jock Peterson. Goodbye, a grand slam.
I mean, there it is. Put this game on ice. See, if I was calling, I'd have to have like a catchphrase like that.
Yeah, you'd have to.
I mean, if you have Christian Walker, that's hit the 2 runs. I mean, 2 home runs, and then Jock Peterson comes in, and he hits the salami late in the game, and you could put this game on ice. See, that's what I would do, right there.
It'd be a good call.
I think it would.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's got personality. It's fun.
Brandon Pfaadt did everything he needed to do last night, and his services weren't really that important in any other way except for building confidence for him, which he did, and he's on the winning end of this game. So Pfaadt is now 3-5 with a 4.38 ERA. The bright and shining part of this. The Walking Dead starting rotation for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, Jordan Montgomery had a good game the other night. I'm not going to say he hasn't been showing up. But, I mean, last night, Brandon Pfaadt, for the second game in a row, has looked pretty good. And, I don't know, Diamondbacks win. Shots for everyone, says the Fifth Letter. Shots for everyone, Randy. All right, we'll take care of it. A lot of people now texting in with different calls I could use. I don't think I can, though. Let's see. We'll read through those in a minute here. But the Angels go on to take on San Francisco in San Francisco. Diamondbacks tonight in action at the Banquet Ballpark in downtown Phoenix, where I'm sure Heavy Metal Maniac is on his way. to sell the ice cold beer here. Diamondbacks and Chicago White Sox. Look, the Snakes need to do damage because don't let the White Sox fool you. They gave it pretty good to Seattle here the other day. Seattle's a pretty good team. As a matter of fact, Seattle, they're in first place in the AL West. Last time I checked. And the Chicago White Sox, who everybody is saying should get swept out of Phoenix. Yeah, the Diamondbacks better not overlook the White Sox. That's all I have to say about this. They better go in and they better do damage and not let the White Sox beat them. Because I can tell you right now, the White Sox are just trying to go around and beat teams. And we don't need that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, Keon.
And that's it's a winnable series. It
is winnable.
It's a bad team, but that's how bad teams get you. And I just think that when I say a team is a good team, I mean that they beat bad teams. They beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. And then, it could go 50-50 other, anyway, if they beat good teams, but they do the little things. And then to be a great team, you just got to beat everybody. But when you're talking about being a good team, I think the Diamondbacks can be a good team. I think they want to be a good team. That's how you prove you're a good team. You beat the teams you're supposed to.
They just need to keep hitting. But the White Sox gave the Mariners everything they could deal with. I'm telling you right now. The Mariners got away with a loss last night, 3-2 White Sox win. But the night before that, Mariners won 2-1. Mariners won 4-3 the night before that. The Mariners had to do some late inning rally, I think, on the Tuesday night game, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so the Mariners won game one. They had a 4-game stint against the White Sox. Yeah, they won game one 8-4. But I just got to tell you, don't overlook the White Sox. You have got to be kidding me if you're going to overlook the White Sox. The Cubbies swept them in 2 games, but it was 7-6 both games, which I think is irony. The Cubs, they had to have a late game heroics in one of those games to win that one because the White Sox were there the whole game. And the White Sox are not getting beat up by people. I mean, they're losing games. Diamondbacks. 3 games starting tonight. It'll go through the weekend. White Sox, Diamondbacks, 6:40 is first pitch tonight at the Bank One. Tomorrow night, 7:10. And then on Sunday at 1:10. It's Father's Day, too, by the way. If you're one of the first dads there, I think you get like some sort of a shirt or something.
Yeah, they've got like this Diamondbacks Father's Day shirt. It's a button-up kind of Hawaiian style shirt, but it's got the Diamondbacks logo.
Why is a Hawaiian shirt? Why is that related to dads? I don't understand.
I don't know, but it just seems to be like the stereotypical when your dad goes on vacation, that's how he dresses kind of deal. I don't know where that came from. Couldn't tell.
I only did that one time, and that's when I went to Hawaii with Miss.
Which is the only time you really ought to.
And I wore a Hawaiian shirt 2 days. Once on the big jet on the way over to the islands, and once at a wedding we were attending while we were on the islands. And I don't think I wore a Hawaiian shirt after that. And yes, I did get in the pool. Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a shark sighting while I was in the big pool, the ocean. But did I get out of the ocean? No. Let's see. So Diamondbacks in action against the White Sox tonight. And it should be, I think it should be a good series, Keon. That's all the baseball I think we need to talk about right now. You don't want to talk about your Nationals, do you? I mean,
I do. They beat Detroit. Won that series.
Well, there you go. They beat Detroit and won the series. There you go.
Rocked them. This is the Nationals way. They win big or they lose big. There kind of is no middle. They don't lose by a run or two.
Are they still in third, just below the free-falling A's or Braves?
I do believe so. Hold on. Let me double check that though. I don't want to.
By my calculations, they're in third place.
Yeah.
Just behind the free-falling Atlanta Braves.
Yeah. Might be able to catch him.
What do you think about? I mean, are you surprised that the Nationals are doing as well as they are this year?
Yeah, I am. I thought they were going to be better this year than they were last year, just because they had a bunch of young guys, and they still do. And I thought those guys were going to be better, and they are. They're just much better than I thought they would be. I mean, CJ Abrams is taking a giant step forward, and he's a twig. He's a skinny guy, but he's just knocking the ball out of the park. It's fun to watch. They don't care. They just go out there and play. And Davey Martinez gets them fired up every single game. I like it. They swing big at everything, and sometimes they win by 7 runs. Sometimes they lose by 9. It's just fun. You throw on the game and see what happens.
So the Washington Nationals still have something to prove. They could, they could make some damage in that National League East. I don't think they're going to catch the Phillies. I think the Phillies are too much for them.
No, the Phillies are the class of the division
now.
Yeah, I mean,
barring any sort of key injuries,
and even and they're pretty deep. It would have to be. I think it would have to be a few injuries for the Phillies to lose that first spot in the NL East.
And the Atlanta Braves are just in a free fall right now. They can't. They've been sort of in a daze ever since their guy left. So, all right. And this weekend also, if you're a baseball fan, I will give you a heads up. Philadelphia is at home, and they're taking on Baltimore, the Orioles. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be a preview of the World Series. Nobody's going to say it other than me. But I think the way Baltimore is playing this year, the way they're hitting, the kind of play that they're getting, the kind of pitching that they're getting, this could be, I'm not calling it, but this could be a preview of the World Series. Philadelphia and Baltimore. I know it's crazy.
It is. It feels crazy, but look how they're playing.
They're in second place in the National League East right now, and they're beating people. And they are asserting themselves on other teams.
They are obliterating teams. I mean, they show up, and it's like I don't know how you stop them from scoring 6 runs. I don't know how you do it. There has to be a way. I'm sure there is a way. I'm not smart enough to figure that out, though.
I mean, Philadelphia's got the pitching. They've got the hitting. Can they stay hot? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, right now they're just kind of running away with it. And Atlanta, I don't think Atlanta's going to be the team to beat in the East. I mean, you feel bad for him, don't
without
you?
Acuna is to the Braves what Corbin Carroll is to the Diamondbacks. He's kind of the engine of the team. He gets the whole thing going. It's not like they're untalented now. It's not like they don't have a good manager. Brian Snitker is really, really good, but he's the motor of that team. Even when he's not playing well, he just plays with so much heart and so much passion. He gets that team fired up, and when he's not out there, you can see it. But they just don't have the same attitude, the same swagger that they usually do. And it's for the Braves. I think that's really important, especially when you're going to play a team like Philly. They're just knocking the cover off the ball.
I'm just saying, for what it's worth, you guys could call me cuckoo. That's okay. Phillies Orioles could be a fall classic preview. And if you are a Phillies fan, good luck to you. If you're an Orioles fan, which I have not heard an Orioles fan on this particular radio program, I'm sure they have to be out there somewhere.
They have to be.
But I think that I think that this is a good chance as any, and nobody's calling this. Nobody is saying anything about this today. I'm just saying weirder things have happened. The Diamondbacks went to the daggum World Series last year. Weirder things can happen, man. All right, 888-368-1580. Let's go to the text line and get that open up here. Big George, hello, gentlemen. Happy Friday, TGIF. The weekend is upon us. Well. Randy was right. He predicted us jack stomping the Angels of Anaheim, Orange County, and the lands of at the hands of the Diamondbacks. I still don't know why Corbin Carroll is leading off as he went over 3 again. Big George, thanks for checking in. I feel the same way. I think we talked about it yesterday, Keon. Is Torey Lovullo just that obsessed with getting Corbin Carroll in the leadoff spot? Or can he not have some patience and let this kid sit down at 6 or 7 or even 8 in the lineup and let him get some confidence. He was doing great down there.
He was, and you can bring him back, but like let him get going a little bit first. Let him consistently see the ball, get hit and go out into the field and get on base and get used to that feeling again. This is the stuff with Torey Lovullo that makes me doubt him all the time. Where it's just like I'm not sure that you seem to have a plan with what you're doing. And that scares me. You're the manager. You want to have a plan.
Yeah.
If you just yank him back to lead off and he's not ready, you're going to put him back in the same spot that he was in before you moved him down to 7th anyway.
And God help us if he gets injured trying too hard at the leadoff spot. But you would expect him last night to go, 5 of 6 or 4 for 5 or, a couple of base hits, a couple of walks. I don't know. But when he's not hitting in a game like last night, again, why do you have this kid at the leadoff? Everybody knows this. I mean, maybe I'm just old school. Maybe I just not. I don't like the sabermetrics. I don't like all that stuff. I'm sure it has good somewhere. Ralph disagrees with me, but I think sometimes you got to go with your gut. You got to go with your instinct and let this kid get comfortable.
The best managers can balance it. Like they know when to use their numbers, when to say, all right, look, we want what Corbin Carroll can give us statistically leading off. However, he doesn't have it right now. And that's okay, but you need to put him in a position to be successful. And the numbers aren't going to tell you that. That's what you've got the human being a manager for. If I wanted a computer to just spit out numbers and tell me what my lineup was going to be for today, I just hire a computer. I just have the IBM Watson in the dugout and just push a button and have him print it out. But
they've already got like iPads and junk down in there.
Which look, I don't have a problem with any of that stuff, but use your noggin because that's what the human being is for.
Well, let's hope that he recovers and he gets back on track starting tonight at the Bank One Ballpark in downtown Phoenix. King of Kittens, excuse me. I think I may be having a stroke. King of Kittens says it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Time for the last and most unproductive hour of the work week. Beard me, Rando. All right, there's your beer right there. Right. Blissful Hayes wants to know, what is Bank One Ballpark? Well, it's that ballpark the Diamondbacks play in, and I will not call it Chase Field. It will for always be Bank One Ballpark. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking with it. Sun Devil Raul says Daily Blender needs to get a sweep. Oh, the D-backs need to get a sweep of this one, folks. We need to get up to 500 and beyond. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. He also has some recommendations for if I ever call a baseball game. He says the great Al McCoy used to always say, you could put this one in the freezer or in the deep freeze. I think that's what he said. Yeah, he corrects himself after that. You could put this one in the deep freeze. Yeah, but see, I want to come up with my own.
You can't use Al's.
Can't use Al's. I can't use as cool as the other side of the pillow. That was that was his. That was Stu.
Stuart Scott, man.
Stuart Scott from ESPN. Or Booyah! That was Stu Scott.
Yeah, I'd love to. I just can't say those things. Those are his. Those are always going to be his.
Yeah, I can't do that. I mean, unless I'm paying homage to him. I mean, if I'm ever calling a World Series championship, I might, he hit that one because he's as cool as the other side of the pillow. See what I mean? I would do that. Kingleberry on the text line says, hey, hope you guys are having a great Friday. Randy, I like your take. I think you got to lay some dollars on the White Sox tonight. See, I don't
know how you got that particular conclusion from the things we said, but
you could be right though, because these White Sox are
And it's not like the Diamondbacks have been stomping on teams that they're better than. They have found ways to lose to these teams.
Well, and to be honest, we haven't had Zach Gallen, we haven't had Merrill Kelly, we haven't had Erod. Jordan Montgomery is just getting up to speed. I mean, Brandon Pfaadt's doing his, but I mean, there's one day we just completely waste a start, and we just kind of go out there and throw the thing together and hope that it works. Torey gets a guy out there as the quote unquote starter. And then in the next inning or so, he's got somebody else in there. And they do that all the time. So I don't know what they're trying to do. Anyway, We're late for a break, as usual, on a Friday. This thing is getting ready to go off the rails. When we come back, I've got some NFL to talk. I've got some Tom Brady talking about what he thinks about quarterbacking in the modern era of the NFL. We'll talk about that and some other things here next on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NBA Finals tonight. It is Game 4. The Boston Celtics looking for the sweep in their 18th NBA championship, taking on the Dallas Mavericks, who are trying to stay alive and force a Game 5 Monday night back in Boston. Boston is a 1-point road favorite, minus 106 against the spread. Dallas getting a point, minus 114. On the money line, the Celtics are minus 112, while Dallas is minus 104. The over-under total is at 211.5. Major League Baseball, the Diamondbacks home in Phoenix, beginning a 3-game series with the Chicago White Sox. It is Ryan Nelson getting the start for Arizona. Chris Flexen going for Chicago. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-8787. That's 1-800-280-8787. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-8787. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them. With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
You're expanding your business and need to add to your fleet. Maybe you need another semi-truck or trailer. Don't have the cash? I can help. I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used trucks and trailers. Whether you're an owner-operator or a fleet manager, I'll get the vehicles you need with a simple application and same-day approval. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
What seems to be the problem?
Doctor, thank goodness. My husband found out Cricket Wireless has 5G plans starting at $15 a month, and his jaw just dropped.
Did he hear about Cricket's blazing fast 5G?
Yep.
What about their reliable nationwide coverage?
Yes, that too.
I see. Unfortunately, there's no cure. But you will have really fast 5G.
Get jaw-droppingly fast 5G for $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Video may be limited to SD. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply. Subject to change. See store for details.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Welcome back to the Daily Blender on this Friday here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic as we effort our way towards 6 o'clock tonight. Jeffrey out today. We'll be back on Monday. I think he's working on a couple of items to check off his list. Of course, we've already talked about him at the Pooseum today. If you don't know what a Pooseum is, it's not a museum of poo. Well, it kind of is, I guess.
It's a dinosaur poo that has been petrified, and he's trying to confiscate a piece of that petrified dinosaur poo as a talking piece in his office, but also to protect his candy. 888-368-1580 is the text line. Happy Friday, mofos from T-Licious. He says, got off an hour early. It's a great day. Here's to watching Luca get swept tonight. I'm not going to say what you said, T-Licious. I'm not going to say that. But I think it's going to happen. I mean, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Neho says, my two favorite Daily Blender hosts. Hope you both have a great show today. Thanks, Neho. Appreciate you. But let me remind you, there's 3 hosts on the show.
And one guy's name is
Jeffrey.
In the name of the show.
You
could even make the argument, and I would, that it's his show.
King of Kittens trying to help me out with a call I can use if I ever get a chance to call play-by-play for the major leagues. He says Chick Hearn used to say you can put it in the refrigerator. No, see, again,
that belongs to Chick Hearn.
I can't do Chick Hearn. I can't do your boy Al McCoy. That's what Al used to go by back in the day. Al McCoy and I share a very similar history. Al McCoy started his radio career here in Phoenix, Arizona, on a station known as 1360 KRUX. And Al McCoy went by the moniker, Your Boy Al McCoy. I also started on 1360 KRUX. That's where my radio career began back in 1976. 888-368-1580. Heavy Metal Maniac says next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll be in Philadelphia watching the Diamondbacks play. I don't think I'd wear any Diamondbacks gear to be safe because those fans are probably pissed off at the Diamondbacks and the fans because they lost in the playoffs to us. Well, yeah, I'd say it's probably pretty good. Heavy Metal Maniac
in Philly. Yeah, just go ahead and
don't even wear the colors. Wear green just to be safe, or buy a Philly Fanatic thing. Philly Fanatic's one of my favorite guys.
Philadelphia has some pretty cool mascots. Yeah. They got Gritty, the Flyers mascot.
Oh, he kind of creeps me out a little.
He's kind of creepy, but he's also funny. I've seen him do some goofy stuff.
Fanatic is great. Of course, D. Baxter, the Bobcat, which I still don't understand. Shouldn't it be a snake?
Especially since they don't call it Bank One Ballpark. I understand you still do and always will, but they don't. So like the Bobcat just doesn't even make sense now.
Bobcats are puny. They're just a little bit bigger than house cats. Yeah. Of course, the Sun's Gorilla, one of my favorites.
True. Coe. Anyway, his name is.
It's the Gorilla. That's his name.
It's not. Oh, he doesn't have an. I thought he had a name. Okay.
When I have a signed basketball around here somewhere, and the autograph on it is the Gorilla.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm wrong about that.
Did I ever tell you how the Gorilla got started at Suns games?
You have, but I don't remember.
I'll give you the Reader's Digest condensed version. The Gorilla used to be a part of a company that did singing telegrams, and people at Suns games at one time they ordered this guy to come down to the Suns arena back in the day. I believe that was the Madhouse on McDowell, the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and he came in there and he started doing a singing telegram, and then it was so funny him coming in there in this gorilla outfit and doing singing telegrams that it became a thing. Well, the Suns ended up hiring him, and he became the mascot for the Phoenix Suns. That's how the Gorilla became the Gorilla. But they never gave him a name. It was always the Suns Gorilla.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not lying.
That's the coolest mascot story of all the stories.
888-368-1580. I also like the KFI chicken. You guys might be too young for the you turned into the San Diego chicken. Now that's it. That is a mascot right there. I believe that is ground zero for all mascots. The San Diego chicken. Look them up on the internets, on the interwebs. So, Keon, what do you think about this statement? This is a quote from somebody I think you know. I think the quarterbacking has gone backwards a little bit in the NFL. I don't think it's improved. I don't think the teaching's improved. I think maybe the physical fundamentals might be a little better, but might be a little bit improved because there's better information out there for quarterbacks to study on mechanics. But I don't think quarterbacks are really field generals right now like they used to be. It's a broad statement. I understand that. But I had total control. I had all the tools I needed. I was coached that way. I was developed to have the tools that I needed to go on the field so that whenever something came up, I had the right play, the right information, the right audible, the right check at the line to ultimately take control of the 11 guys on offense and get us into a good, positive play. Who said that?
Well, it's Tom Brady.
That's Tom Brady, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Because he said it earlier in this offseason. He didn't go in depth like he did there, but he did mention it.
Tom Brady believes that quarterbacking in the NFL has gone somewhat backwards. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Why?
For a number of reasons, but I'll start with the first one. I think that players coming from college are not as prepared for the NFL as they used to be, because in college, not everybody, but just about everybody was running a pro style offense, especially back when Brady played. And then over time, and look, the coaches are responsible for winning football games. You don't win football games, you lose. If you simplified your offense and you streamlined it and you spread people out and you were able to move quickly and use tempo, you were able to win more football games in college that way if you just had the better athletes. And so it made offenses a lot more simple, especially once the spread offense took over college football.
See, but I think that Tom Brady earned the right to start and was in a situation where he completed all the courses necessary for a quarterback to be an NFL quarterback. He was on the same team, had the same coach, had the same basic offense, knew it inside and out. And today these guys are coming in. They're brand new out of college. They don't spend. I mean, look at Justin Fields with the Chicago Bears. He was with them how many seasons?
Yeah, that's my second point. We give up on guys way too fast.
Thank you.
First off, when you draft a guy, again, it used to be you could draft a first-round quarterback. You could draft a guy first overall and sit him. You can't do that anymore. The money involved, the investment in that pick and that player is so big, it's hard to tell the owner of your team, we're going to draft a guy first in the draft, and he's not going to play for us for 2-3 years. He's just going to learn. But when you force him out there, you got the Justin Fields, you've got Mac Jones. The list goes on of guys that have just been given up on. The Jets moved on from Zach Wilson. We don't let the guys develop, and they're not all going to. But there are players in the past that you simply wouldn't have, they wouldn't have gotten this opportunity if we moved on from players now the way or moved on from players then the way that they do now.
888-368-1580. I'd love to know what you guys think about it, but quarterbacks today, they have so much pressure on them. But what happens if Caleb Williams goes out there and is a complete and total flop for Chicago? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what happens if do the Bears give up on him right away? I mean, they're already calling him, and he's calling himself a franchise quarterback, and he's embracing that role of franchise quarterback. And what happens if he just goes out there and pees the bed? And now all of a sudden Chicago is stuck with a guy that had all this pomp and circumstance coming out of the college. He won the Heisman, and yet he came out and just absolutely failed. What happens then? Do the Bears give up on him?
I sure hope not. But, and I don't think this regime will, because now this is the guy that they drafted. So you get the 5-year window maybe of working with him, but he's going to have to show some promise, and he's going to have to show improvement every single year. Otherwise, that's the stuff that gets people fired now. So you have the pressure to rush these guys into stuff. And Caleb Williams, smart guy. I mean, I've watched interviews with him. He's incredibly intelligent, but you're still asking a lot of somebody to go from college and learn an NFL playbook and then show up and be, franchise savior day one. You're asking an awful lot of that person, especially he played in Lincoln Riley's offense. That's not a complicated offense. It's just not. And not compared to an NFL one. So now he's going to have to learn the complexities of the NFL game. What NFL defenses are going to try to do to you are just different than what college defenses can do to you, because a college defense, if you have the better athletes, usually you can stop people from scoring enough points. In the NFL, they'll give you a look that's half man, half zone, and you have to figure out where it is based on the rules of what that defense might be trying to do to you. It's a lot for a young player to digest, and we still give up on these guys really fast.
Okay, so Tua Tagovailoa, what do you think about him? Is he forming into a franchise quarterback, or has he not learned enough yet? Is he back? Is he, in Tom Brady's words, is he sort of backwards?
I don't think Tua is, no. Tua's one of the few guys I think that came out of college prepared, for what the NFL is. He doesn't have the biggest arm, so that's going to always be a limit on how effective he can be compared to other guys. But in terms of understanding the offense and beating you with his mind, I think Tua's probably more ahead than most. I like Tua a lot for that. But you look at some of these other guys and how long it took them. And that's the name of the game, honestly, is how do I keep my offense simple enough, long enough for my quarterback to learn how to play the NFL game before I have to give up on him. And that's a weird game to have to play with somebody and their entire career.
888-368-1580. I love what Tom went on to say here. I think now there's this try to control element on the sideline between the coaches where they want to have control, and they're not teaching and developing the players the right tools so that they can go out on the field and make their own decisions that are best suited for the team. I mean, I agree with that 110%. I mean, what quarterback other than Aaron Rodgers, maybe Lamar Jackson, what other quarterback do you think is calling his own plays out there?
I think Mahomes probably is. But I do think that, because when you get to the line, it's like, all right, I'm looking at it pre-snap, and the defense is changing some things after communication cuts off. You're doing that, but it's not everybody. It's not everybody.
I could see Mahomes. I don't know that he's got full purview of the playbook, though. I don't think he could change it up.
I think at this point he can. He didn't always. He didn't come into the league that way. But I'll give you a really good example of somebody.
You think Joe Burrow does? Joe Burrow does?
Burrow, I would be shocked if he didn't. Like a lot of the big name guys, you're probably they most likely do, right? Like that. Because how can you have an effective offense if your quarterback can't adjust to what a defense is doing? They're trying to trick you. They're giving you multiple different looks, and then the play starts and they drop into something else entirely. If your quarterback isn't capable of changing those things to manipulate the defense, I have no idea, what they're doing. But there are also guys that didn't have that. Jared Goff, when he first came in the league and was playing for Sean McVay, I think Sean McVay, like many people, assumed that Jared Goff was not smart enough to figure out a defense, because he would basically read the defense for Jared Goff through the headset. And then when it cut off, Jared was stuck, because if the defense changed after that, he couldn't figure it out. But the Rams never developed that. So we assumed Jared Goff didn't have it. Then he goes to Detroit, where they allow him to do that. They allow him to grow into that kind of quarterback. And as it turns out, Jared Goff is more than smart enough to do that. He's more than smart enough to figure out what a defense is doing to him and make them pay for it. He had it the whole time, but they didn't allow him to. And I think that's what Brady's talking about, where some of these coaches, especially the offensive guys, they just can't get out of their own way. They micromanage, and they stop young players from developing.
You think Dak Prescott's got that kind of purview?
I think Dak does. Yeah, like Dak's limitations, I think, are more. I mean, if you look at Dak's numbers last year, if you look at the games that they won last year, I think that Dak has that. And that's the reason why Dak did get paid what he got paid. It's not for this transcendent greatness that you look at for a lot of guys that make the big bucks. It's that Dak's a consistent guy that understands what he's looking at. And he does have control over that offense. But
Yeah.
again, that's something that's come with time. The guys that don't get thrown away get the chance to develop that.
Yeah.
But I feel really bad for guys who maybe struggled a little bit early, like a Justin Fields, and you just throw him away.
Yeah.
Does he ever
Yeah.
get to learn it?
I mean, that's the problem. I think a lot of times it's what have you done for me lately? We're up against a break. When we come back, I got several texts on the text line at 888-368-1580. We'll talk about that. Also, what did ESPN try to do with the NFL that would have been actually popular and surprisingly would have been favorable for fans? We'll talk about it around the corner here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 124th U.S. Open Golf Championship, sponsored by T-Mobile. It is late in the day at Pinehurst number 2. Ludwig Oberg and Patrick Cantlay have been hovering around the lead all afternoon. Oberg -6, Cantlay at -5. Belgium's Thomas Dietrich is in the clubhouse. After a round of 67, he's 2 off the lead at -4. He talked about his strategy in round 2.
I think this week is all about target golf because it's a lottery. If you miss fairways, you can really get in big troubles. And I thought that today I did a great job at making sure I was on the fairway, and from the fairway, just hitting to conservative targets on the green.
Cut line still +5. Scotty Scheffler in the house on that number. Tiger Woods will not be playing the weekend. With this report on the U.S. Open, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sports.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. Like 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. Switch today.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account, plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome Plan benefits vary. See details.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them. With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
This is Brad Musburger. Don't miss Betting Across America, Saturdays at 11 a.m. right here on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender on this Friday, June 14th. As we are efforting our way towards 6 o'clock tonight, Jeffrey O'Brien out today, back Monday. Keon Rose, the sexiest man, Sports Talk Radio, right over there. My name is Randy White, and you are the fourth dimension on the text line, 888-368-1580. Heavy Metal Maniac is warning me not to talk stuff about Baxter. He will claw my eyes out. He's a bad kitty. I didn't say he was a bad, mascot at all. I didn't say that. I didn't even infer it. I just said, I don't understand why they have D. Baxter, the Bobcat, when it's no longer the Bank One ballpark. It's now the Chase Field, and the team that he is the mascot for are the Diamondbacks.
and bobcats are just not that much bigger than house cats, which is a true fact. It's a you can Google it.
Just kind of feel like maybe there
very intimidating.
Needs to be an update or an addition. I mean, something needs to happen. Big George on the text line says, Keon, I agree with you. The NFL teams give up too quickly on quarterbacks. I think the Cardinals should have given Kevin Cobb, Max Hall, Sam Bradford, Matt Leinart, and Josh Rosen more time. Just look at them now.
Didn't you only draft one of those guys? We're talking about young quarterbacks. So obviously you don't give Kevin Cobb more time. You got him from Philadelphia. Okay, you don't give Sam Bradford more time. He was drafted by the Rams. We're talking about guys you draft. And Josh Rosen, obviously that didn't work out, but there is an argument to be made for spending more time with the guy and seeing if you could develop something. But no, you chucked him after a single season. Maybe that was the right decision ultimately, but I'm saying for how much these picks are costing you in investment, giving up very fast. And again, on young quarterbacks, George, you named a bunch of guys and only one guy is a guy the Cardinals actually drafted.
Which one?
Josh Rosen.
Matt Leinart. We drafted him too.
You drafted Matt Leinart? Yeah.
Yeah. We drafted
quarterbacks still are still.
I think we drafted Max Hall too.
Quarterbacks are still hit or miss, but you're not giving them the best chance to succeed if you give up on them after a season, or you change a bunch of offensive coordinators every single year that they're there, so they have to start over from scratch all the time. You're just not helping the guy. Okay, like whatever his limitations are is what they are. And if you see him in practice and you see him in games and you go, this ain't it, fine. But if every single guy you're giving up on quickly, your organization is bad. That's just plain and simple. You're either not drafting well, and you're just drafting duds, or you're giving up on players who could probably become something but you're not taking the time to develop them.
Mr. Wilbur says, I agree with you, Randy. Caleb Williams is going to be a flop. How can you see that, Mr. Wilbur? Well, I guess it's maybe it's the ESP. They say, Keon, this is a fact. They say your other senses get more strong when you lose.
They do say that.
Moving right along. Rough Rob says, Kyler Murray played in Lincoln Riley's offense. What's his excuse?
That's a simple. My point is that offense does not prepare you for the NFL. So that would be the excuse. It's a simple offense relative to what an NFL offense is.
T-Licious says, my guy Brock Purdy is the definition of trying to find your quarterback nowadays. Sometimes you get lucky. A lot of times you don't.
But the thing is, if Brock Purdy played on another team with less talent and struggled,
and didn't have an offensive genius like the dark helmet.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like does that too? Like does he struggle enough that he doesn't get a chance on another team? Like the Niners were built to be able to drop a guy in who could play and give you something day one. And just, like if he has it, it's going to show. But not every team's built that way. Some teams are maybe further behind in what they're trying to build, or just not as well constructed in general. You throw a guy like Brock Purdy on the Commanders, I promise you he doesn't become the Brock Purdy we know now.
Niho says, case in point, if offensive genius Brad Childress wasn't a egomaniac control freak and allowed Brett Favre to run the offense in 2009, the Vikings would have won the Super Bowl that year. Believe it? Or I don't think so.
Didn't Adrian Peterson fumble like 4 times in that game? I feel like that's why you didn't win a Super Bowl that year. And then Brett Favre threw the worst interception to end all interceptions. I feel like that's your biggest problem, Niho. Just throwing that out there.
Big George is back on the text line. It says, Randy, my man, you know this history better than anybody else since you call Chase Field Bank One Ballpark. D. Baxter, the Bobcat, became the mascot since everybody called Bank One Ballpark the Bob. Hence, the team decided to have the mascot be a Bobcat. D. Baxter is cool, and I like him. Unlike Angel Hernandez. I added that last part, by the way. Yes, that is true. They did. Do you know who named D. Baxter the Bobcat?
No, I don't know that.
I think it was Jay Bell's kid. Jay Bell, original, one of the original members of the Diamondbacks. Heavy Metal Maniac says the Arizona Rattlers have a snake mask and it has two legs. That it is the stupidest mascot ever. Snakes don't have legs. How can you have a mascot as a snake? I'm just saying.
Well, you know, your guy has to be able to walk around. He is being played. He's a snake being played by a human being. So, like, humans do have legs. He does have to.
Here's an idea. Here's an idea. You put the snake costume on, and you have two cutouts on the belly of the snake costume. Okay.
Okay. I'm already concerned about where this is going, but sure.
You have the two cutouts, and then you have one of those. What do you call those? Those Yugos? No. Egos? No. What is it? Easy goes? What is that thing where you lean this way? You lean that way?
The hoverboard.
Well, okay. Well, it's like the hoverboard, but it was that. And then you have the snake, and he's moving, and he doesn't have his legs sticking out, and all the kids will love him.
That's something. That is something.
888-368-1580.
He'll basically be impossible to get to any fans in the higher levels of the stadium.
What are you talking about, man? Come
stairs. He's easily defeated by stairs. He's like the robot in RoboCop. He just stairs. That's his weakness.
888-368-1580. Let's move on. Otherwise, we won't get through all of this stuff that I've prepped for this show. I've spent hours upon hours upon hours. According to, it looks like a Pro Football Talk on NBC Sports, ESPN proposed dropping Sunday ticket prices to $70 and offering single team packages. However, when this was discussed with the NFL, Brian Rolapp, the NFL's chief media and business officer, Brian Rolapp said, "Niet, we don't like that idea. Our model is the best in the world." ESPN said, "Well, not according to some of the data that's being collected. We try to think about what the fan wants and get as much distribution as possible," Brian Rolapp said for the NFL. Some of the evidence contradicts Rolapp's claim. According to people with the Sports Business Journal, the NFL is wrong. Meanwhile, Patriots owner Robert Kraft reportedly said in a deposition testimony that that was played for the jury last Friday, "We're not looking to get a lot of people. We want to keep it as a premium offering," end quote. And there it is, Keon. What we've tried to preach on this show for many years now.
Just said the quiet part out loud.
The NFL does not care about you, the fan. They care about their wallets and how deep their pockets are and how to fleece you from some more money.
They want as many people paying as high a price as they can get. And that means keeping it high so that it feels like this valuable thing that you have to shell out for. People just have to stop paying for that, man. It's at that point, because most people can't afford NFL Sunday ticket. And what they're essentially saying is, screw you guys.
That's exactly right. I mean, so much for Brian Rolapp for wanting what's best for the fan. Please.
And ESPN doesn't have numbers that Brian Rolapp doesn't have. He already knows the numbers. He already knows that they're not making as much money as they could make.
Yeah. Plaintiffs for in this lawsuit against the NFL says that the league specifically kept Sunday ticket expensive to ensure plenty of fans would just watch whatever games was on their local broadcast networks and not bother the NFL with not paying for their Sunday ticket. So there it is. You see, if you don't listen to the Daily Blender, you miss these things. Kian and I will be back in about, whatever time it is to get these commercials with hour number 2 here on The Fanatic.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 124th U.S. Open Golf Championship, sponsored by Staybill. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Staybill. Visit staybill.com for more information. If it feels like we've been repeating the same names all day, it's because we have. No major shakeups at the top of the leaderboard, just changing positions. Tony Finau made a mini charge today, 2 under on his day, 4 under for the week. 4 players on that number, including the overnight co-leader Patrick Cantlay, who was +1 today. The 2 names up top, Sweden's Ludvig Åberg and France's Matthew Pavon. They're both at 5 under. Åberg making his first start at a U.S. Open. Pavon making his 4th. And as we approach 7 p.m. Eastern time, the cut is +5 still. Among those outside the number, Justin Rose, Webb Simpson, and Tiger Woods. With this report on the U.S. Open, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sport.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's. Save $40 on select 5-gallon HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams paint, like Weather Shield, Showcase, or ceiling paint. Plus, save $10 on drywall PVA primer and get free same-day delivery to the job site when you order by 2 p.m. Lowe's knows paint. Lowe's knows pros. Offers valid through 6/14. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them. With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
When life spells heartburn, how do you spell relief? ROLAIDS.
What about when life spells fried chicken?
ROLAIDS.
4th cup of coffee?
Still ROLAIDS.
Extra cheesy pizza?
Rolaids always spells relief. Rolaids' powerful dual-active formula begins neutralizing acid on contact to fight your heartburn fast. So, when life spells heartburn, Rolaids spells relief. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. 1, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call. 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what? Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Welcome back, everybody, to hour number 2 of the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic as we effort our way towards 6 p.m. here on this Friday. Aren't you glad the weekend is here? Maybe you're in the middle of your work week. Well, we're here for you until 6 o'clock tonight, and we thank you for working for all of us who are taking the weekend off. My name is Randy White over there. That is the sexiest man in Sports Talk Radio, Keon Rose. You are the fourth dimension, and you are texting in at 888-368-1580 on our text line. And we are broadcasting live from uptown Scottsdale in the palatial Harmon Solar Studios. Jeffrey O'Brien out today, be back Monday. And we are going forward here with this comment that was made by one of the owners, Robert Kraft, talking about getting premiums and charging people the extreme for the Sunday ticket price. And ESPN had proposed dropping the price to $70 and offering single team packages. The NFL said, no, we don't like that. We're not making enough money. So that's what we were just talking about. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Keon Rose has breaking news.
Newsflash.
This is breaking news.
Yeah, the breaking news is that MLB umpire Pat Hoberg is reportedly being disciplined for a gambling violation. And this is the statement that Major League Baseball put out via The Athletic, that during this year's spring training, Major League Baseball commenced an investigation regarding a potential violation of MLB sports betting policies by umpire Pat Hoberg. Major League Baseball said in a statement issued to The Athletic that Mr. Hoberg was removed from the field during the pendency of that investigation. And while Major League Baseball's investigation did not find any evidence that games worked by Mr. Hoberg were compromised or manipulated in any way, Major League Baseball determined that discipline was warranted and that Mr. Hoberg has chosen to appeal that determination. Therefore, they can't comment further until the appeal process has concluded. Major League Baseball betting scandal of the season, numero dos.
So now we have the umpires in on it, huh?
Oh, yeah. So if you thought the Shohei Ohtani was bad.
Oh, boy. This is going to be big.
They dodged a bullet with Ohtani. Now you've got an umpire being investigated, and you've been investigating him since spring training.
Spring training, yeah. Since last February, yeah.
The thing is, when they say that the games umpired by him have not been compromised, I just feel like they would have to say that, right?
I mean, how would they know for 100%?
Yeah.
I mean,
and even if that were, even if they're lying, like they would still have to lie, because nothing would ruin baseball more than finding out that an umpire was betting on games he worked.
Boy. I mean, think of Donovan or what was his Donahue? Think of him for the NBA. Yeah. All right. So Major League Baseball investigating one of their umpires for sports gambling. Not sure if any of the games that he umpired were impacted. We'll keep you posted on that as we get more information. Hefty Lefty on the text line at 888-368-1580. Minor league baseball teams have the best mascots. Some universities have good ones too, specifically the Banana Slugs of UC Santa Cruz. Excuse me? The Banana Slugs of UC Santa Cruz? Oh, boy.
Yeah, I like the teams in Alabama, the Rocket City Trash Pandas. It just makes me laugh every time.
I heard of a somewhere it was like the Sand Gnats. I can't remember where the minor league team played, but it was like the Sand Gnats. Chattanooga, the Lookouts, they always had that cool logo. It was the two big eyeballs.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, I've got my Lookouts hat over at my desk. I could probably grab that. I don't know. I loved going to Lookouts games back when I was there. And then Louis the Lookout, their fuzzy red mascot. He looks like if Elmo lived inside of a baseball park. I love him. Love Louis.
All right. 888-368-1580. Mr. Wilbur says, my dear friend Greg, who has since passed away, was the original artist for Baxter the Bobcat. Wow, didn't know that. Oh. And he would go to the ball games and draw pictures of Baxter for the kids. Very cool. Big George on the text line giving us the breaking news here as well. But he said, Randy, you're 100% correct. The idea for D. Baxter, the mascot, came from Brantley. That was Jay Bell's son, who explained to his dad the team should have a Bobcat as a mascot since the team played at the Bob Bank One Ballpark. Bell informed the management about his son's idea, and Baxter was born. Whammo. Man, that just got to tell you one thing. I am super old if I know all this stuff. Good night of living. The Tom on the text line says, send the gambling ump to Tucson for punishment. Wow. Thanks to Tom. That might be just too much, though. That might be too drastic. Lost Toby says, speaking of Bad Bunny, I know I'm late. An Arizona man allegedly plotted to gun down people at the Atlanta Bad Bunny concert. Wow. Why are we?
That's unhinged in every way.
Thank you, Lost Toby. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but thank you for bringing that to our attention. Let's see here. Lost Toby also says the flying. Is it the flying chanclas? Is that like the flip flop?
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know if I don't know if I just said something terrible, but the flying something or other are the best. Okay, the flying flip flops. It looks like I don't have any idea. Anyway, 888-1580 is the text line, and moving along here as we are.
The San Antonio Missions have the flying chanclas as a mascot. It's a flying slipper.
The
uniforms are kind of cool. I don't know. When I went to Missions games, I don't remember that, but I was a kid though, so that could just be. I don't remember it really.
Well, after that kind of sad and depressing text, let's talk about this. Arizona State head football coach Kenny Dillingham is trying to motivate his players to get them to work out extra hard. And since the college football game, College Football 25 is set to release in July by EA Sports, he used this as sort of a momentum motivator for his players. It's not just the fans that are anxiously waiting for this game to come out, but also the players on ASU. So Arizona State football coach media team put out a video that featured the head coach Kenny Dillingham offering copies of the game with a custom Arizona State cover to players who held a plank position the longest during a summer workout. Now you had to go out there. First, you got to be a player, and then you have to hold the plank the longest. Everybody wants to get their hands on this college football. Are you going to get a copy of this College Football 25?
I probably won't. I don't have the console necessary for it. I'll let the game pass me by and let the next generation enjoy the college football game.
Well, what nobody told these players after they went out there and struggled in this heat, holding a plank as long as they can, that Kenny Dillingham handed them a blank manila envelope that contains so and so game. But they found out it was not indeed the EA Sports game College Football 25, but another one.
What game would that be?
I don't know what the game was. It's not saying, but it was not, as promised, the EA Sports game. The winners of the thing got a unwelcome surprise. You've got to consider hitting the transfer portal for this gross violation of trust like that, some of the guys said. He did get his team to work a little harder, and I'm sure that they're going to be rewarded in some way. But the players will be getting their own copy of the games because of the NIL agreement. And so they'll be getting the game anyway.
They were just trying to get it early, is really what
they
it was.
Just should have known this before Dillingham did this. Because if they knew they were going to get the game, and Dillingham is saying, I'm going to give you a copy early, come on, man.
Well, like you get it, you can turn around and sell it. You got options, I guess. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Dillingham being resourceful.
It's
888-368-1580.
friendly hazing. It's like the good kind of hazing.
Oh yeah, no, he got him now. But you know what? He'll never get these guys again.
Yeah,
he'll never get them again. After that little trick, that little stunt
in the video, one of the players is planking out in the Arizona sun, and just sweat is just dripping off of his face, and you can tell he wants that game.
He wants that game,
and I don't know what game he got, but it wasn't that game.
All right, let's keep going here. Speaking of college football, Texas and Oklahoma, Keon, I wanted to tell you about this. The first game is members of the SEC will start a little later than usual. Usually the game is at Dallas at the Sugar Bowl. It starts at noon, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to happen this way this year. It's going to kick off at 3:30.
Like
And
all
it'll be-
SEC games.
It's going to be either on ABC or ESPN 12, and it'll be on or ESPN on October 12th. And the two schools again, they usually play in the old Cotton Bowl there in Dallas. I think it's during the Dallas
Yeah, it's the Texas Fair.
State Fair,
State
right?
Fair, yeah.
Texas State Fair, yeah. So anyway, that's going to be the game this year. It's going to be either on ABC or ESPN on October 12th at 3:30. Are you ready? I'm sure that's 3:30 Eastern time.
It is, yeah. Every SEC rivalry game, that you just know this if you live out there, it's 3:30. So you don't ask what time it is. Or what time is Alabama playing Tennessee? It's 3:30.
3:30,
It's
yeah.
always 3:30. What time is the Iron Bowl? 3:30. They're all 3:30.
Yeah.
So no, that's just it's going to take some getting used to the SEC way of doing things, because I like that game being at noon, but you just can't do it. That's just the nature of the way that's set up in that conference. You're doing it at 3:30, or you're not doing it.
So do you think they're going to take it out of the Cotton Bowl too and put it somewhere else?
I don't think so.
No?
I think that's part of the game. I think that's part of the game is playing it there. I don't think they're going to move it. And the SEC is all about history. So if you've got history, if you show up with it, they want you to keep it. That's
right.
part of the brand, actually.
The ESPN also moved the Egg Bowl. If you don't know what that is, that's when Mississippi State takes on Ole Miss. They've moved that to Black Friday. Now, wait a minute. So they're going to try to take on the NFL on Black Friday and play the Egg Bowl, the Mississippi State Ole Miss game?
Wait, isn't the Egg Bowl usually on Black Friday?
I don't think so. I think they moved it to Black Friday. 3:30 Eastern time on November 29th, after it was played Thanksgiving evening in recent seasons.
Oh, gotcha. That's why. Yeah, it's because it's usually around Thanksgiving. I don't know that I would try to go up against the NFL, because the only people you're going to get with the Egg Bowl is the Mississippi fans, the Mississippi State and Ole Miss fans. Who else are you going to get? So I might watch, depending on the NFL matchup, I guess, or if the NFL game winds up just being bad.
Well,
but
NFL's on Netflix, so I won't be watching that
that's
game.
true.
So clearly,
It's on
I'll be
Netflix.
watching some college football.
So maybe that's why you try and go up against it.
Yeah.
If they're behind the paywall and you're not,
Right?
then maybe you go head to head that way.
This is a head scratcher to me, too. The rivalry game between Georgia and Georgia Tech is also moving to Black Friday, and they're putting it at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on ABC on that Black Friday night. Georgia Tech. Georgia kills Georgia Tech. Why would you put that in the
for the last 15 years of my life, the Bulldogs have been killing Georgia Tech.
Why would you put that on prime time?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have good answers to that question. I'm sorry. I'm as confused as you are. Normally, I can at least come up with some hypothetical reason as to why, even if I don't agree. I don't even have one here. I got nothing.
You say, Randy, who cares? Give me something from the old Pac-12. Okay, Fox will televise Oregon versus Oregon State on September 14th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. So there you go. You can watch Oregon versus Oregon State. And then at the same time, on the same day, Washington State takes on Washington in the Apple Bowl or whatever they call that. And that's only going to be available on Peacock, NBC streaming service. Here we go again. On CBS now at the 3:30 Eastern time slot, the Big Ten games, Ohio State's home game versus Akron. What? And then and that's on August 31st. Later that evening, the network will show UCLA's visit to Hawaii at 7:30 p.m. I mean, good for Hawaii, I guess.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, you want to pull for the Rainbow Warriors, but I mean, UCLA is going to probably throttle them. I'm just saying that's one of those early season games. Let's see. Colorado to host Oklahoma State on Black Friday at 10 a.m. Let's see here. Colorado, week 1, Colorado hosts FCS powerhouse North Dakota State on August 29th. That game kicks off at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
I mean, North Dakota State's really good, though.
If North Dakota State, just runs it up against Colorado, oh, man.
That would be embarrassing. And also, that's a trap game, though. That is a trap game. North Dakota State at the Division II level there, that team, they're a dynasty. They're a dynasty. You still shouldn't lose to them if you're going to be a power conference team, but I still don't think that Colorado is quite where they're needed to be. And I think that some of the things that Dion has done has gotten them really good players in the transfer portal. I also think that it's cost him some good players as well. So
if you're wanting to know what the Big 12, what they're doing on TV, I'm pulling up the list right now. Thursday, August 29th. So Thursday night, August 29th, on ESPN Plus, it's New Hampshire at UCF. Sorry. And then on ESPN at 6 p.m., it's North Dakota State at Colorado. Let's see here.
It's Cupcake Week that first week. So,
On the 30th, TCU will be at Stanford at 9:30 p.m. on ESPN. That's 9:30 Central Time. That's August 30th. I'm trying to look here to see. I'm looking for ASU, but I'm looking for U of A. I don't see anything yet. Oh, here we go. Saturday, September 7th at 9 p.m. Central on the TV on Fox here. No, yeah. It used to be the Big 12. Now it's on ESPN Plus. Sorry. Northern Arizona at Arizona State. Or I'm sorry, at Arizona. On ESPN at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time, it's Mississippi State at ASU. That looks like the Saturday, September 7th.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Dude, August 31st, Wyoming's at Arizona State at 7:30. That's on FS1.
That's going to be a tough game. I'm sorry. Wyoming beats people all the time that you would not think that Wyoming would beat.
Yeah, I know.
And the saving grace here is that they're playing the game here. You have to go up to Laramie and play them there. I can't guarantee you come out with a W. Can't do it.
This whole thing is all screwed up now. I can't even make this up. This whole thing is just all messed up. It seems like to me it's going to take a lot of getting used to. I'm sorry. I'm a college football guy.
But you've got 4 conferences now. I'm already still trying to wrap my head around that. You have not just 4 conferences, but you have all of these new teams in these conferences too. I'm getting my head around the concept of Colorado being a Big 12 team again is going to take some work. ASU being a Big 12 team, that's going to take some work. It's just it's like when the Chargers moved from San Diego to LA, and we still sometimes say San Diego because that's what it feels right to say.
Yeah.
This is that times 100 because a bunch of teams moved and a whole conference disappeared.
Gosh, and then they're all over the place. There's FS1, ESPN, ESPN Plus,
all these networks, and then you have teams that it doesn't even make sense. USC being in the Big Ten, I will literally never get used to that. 50 years from now, I'm going to be like, the Big Ten, really? I'm struggling to adjust, is what I'm saying. I'm struggling to adjust.
So here's the breakdown. I know we're up against a break. Speaking of a breakdown, ESPN has the rights to every SEC telecast, while CBS, NBC, and Fox share the Big Ten rights. ACC games are also exclusively on ESPN networks outside of a weekly game on the CW. And the Big 12's TV contract includes games on Fox and the ESPN networks. The CW will televise home games for Oregon State and Washington State, the remainder of the Pac-12 members. Why are you going? This is crazy. Let's take a break, try to regroup, and come back. And don't forget, you can text in at 888-368-1580. We can talk about it. It's a Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Totalmente.
Now you can get 50% off any unlimited data phone plan. That's one line for only $25 a month, and you keep the phone you love. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. So find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Offer ends July 31st, 2024. Promo subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. See totalbyverizon.com for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
What seems to be the problem?
Doctor, thank goodness. My husband found out Cricket Wireless has 5G plans starting at $15 a month, and his jaw just dropped.
Did he hear about Cricket's blazing fast 5G?
Yep.
What about their reliable nationwide coverage?
Yes, that too.
I see. Unfortunately, there's no cure. But you will have really fast 5G.
Get jaw-droppingly fast 5G for $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Video may be limited to SD. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply. Subject to change. See store for details.
So what did the doctor say?
He said I might need surgery.
Wow, it's that serious.
Well, we won't know for sure until I talk with a surgeon, but I'm lost. This is all new to me.
The decision to have surgery isn't easy, but neither is living with pain.
There is an alternative to surgery. At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach and can restore pain-free joint function so you can avoid surgery. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. We also help restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and also improves cognition and emotional stability. So when traditional medicine suggests you need surgery, how about taking another approach? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
Marijuana may be legal in Arizona, but driving impaired is not.
As a police officer here in Arizona, I know DUIs apply to more than just alcohol. Anything that impairs driving makes you dangerous on the road. If you feel different, you drive different, and driving impaired can get you a DUI.
Get the facts at drivinghighaz.com and spread the word with the hashtag HighDUI. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Hi, I'm Ralph Romano.
And I'm Neil Lynch.
And we're the Weekend Warriors.
Ralph, I think we should change the name of our show.
To what?
Let's call it 30 Years Sports Talk Interview Fun Time.
What kind of name is that?
Well, we've been friends for over 30 years.
Yeah.
We talk about sports.
Sure.
We interview personalities from the Arizona sports scene.
Okay.
And we have fun.
Dude, are you done?
For now, yes.
Look, Neil, all this is true, but let's just stick to our regular name.
Okay, Ralph, but I think my name is better.
Anyways, it's the Weekend Warriors every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 1580 The Fanatic.
About halfway through the Friday edition of the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic as we keep rolling towards 6 o'clock. The text line is humming along. Random texter says, we don't care anything about those college games, Randy. When is the Chalupa Devils? When is the Chalupa Devils game? Ah, geez, you're going to make me go back in this thing, aren't you?
Well, hold on. I might have it pulled up here. That is Saturday, November 30th. And it's in Tucson.
Saturday, November 30th. They
don't have a time yet.
I don't even see that on here.
Yeah,
wait a minute. Is it on the? Yeah, I mean, this should be right here. I mean, oh my God, this is a mess.
I don't know. I just went to fbsschedules.com. That's usually where I hang out.
Ooh,
when I want to know schedules.
Quick on the draw, Keon. Quick on the draw, young man. So ASU, Arizona will take on New Mexico. The first game, August 31st, that will be on ESPN 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. Meanwhile, in Tempe, Wyoming visits the Sun Devils on FS1 at 7:30. This is going to be a cluster.
I don't know if it necessarily will be because it seems like they've got the schedules and stuff all hammered out and all that.
Cecil doesn't even like it.
Cecil doesn't agree with me at all. But yeah, I just think that I think it's going to work out fine. It's just you're going to have to get used to all the new places that all the new teams are in. That's the part that's going to struggle a little bit.
So one week ASU's on FS1, then the next week they're on ESPN, and who knows what's going to happen on the third week.
But all of those things are easier to find than what it used to be, which is
boy. I hope they figure out a way to do this. I mean, because good 9/11
Pac-12 network, and you're like, well, okay, I don't have that. I don't want to pay for that. It's not good. What am I?
Well,
what am I doing?
On Pac-12 anymore.
That's what I'm saying. But FS1 is if you have cable, you can watch that, or if you have cable, you can watch ESPN like that.
All right, there.
Most of these games are going to be easier to find than they used to be.
We're just going to have to figure out a way for maybe Keon to do, on Friday. What's the football outlook for the weekend? Where can you find your favorite game?
Yeah, might have to add that. It's becoming necessary
because it's crazy. It's going to be honest before we know it. I will say that because August is the first game, August 29. That's the first set of games.
But it seems like they already.
Boy, I wonder if they paid like $70 billion to have all this because they got all the hookups, man.
ESPN worked a deal with the SEC and they worked a deal with the Big 12,
and the ACC,
but I think that's partial. I think, but anyway, yeah, like they get first rights on any game in all of those conferences, so they paid a boatload of cash, but college football has been growing, and so that makes sense as an investment for them. They're going to make a ton of money.
So the Chalupa Devils game, Random Texter, did we answer your question? I hope we did.
Saturday, November 30th.
Yeah. What time? Noon? Noon?
No time listed yet.
No time listed. Perfect.
Because if the game's not going to be great, they'll probably not put it in prime time. But if it looks like, okay, both of these teams are competitive and it could be fun, we may get a prime time game. So that's going to affect when the game is played.
Of course, Big George on here, bringing out all the reasons why this is terrible. This is a travesty of justice. ASU should be playing U of Arizona on Black Friday instead of Colorado and Oklahoma State. ASU is going to throttle the kittens this year. I mean, I don't think he's wrong.
I have no idea.
Ever since Jed Fish ran, left.
But the team he built is still there largely. So like let's wait and see. If all the players had a mass exodus and ran for the transfer portal, and they did lose some, but they didn't lose everybody. They're still talented. Let's wait and see.
Cool Hand Brandon bringing the cool side to the conversation. Guys, this is a move that the football powers in conferences ask for these schedules so that they guarantee the top 12 teams that people will want to watch in the playoffs, get more TV money, and some for the poor teams early, and all good football leading up to the playoffs. I think I understand it.
Yeah, basically the worst teams are playing in primetime games earlier so that as we get closer to the playoffs, the games that are on TV are going to be the teams battling for those spots, which makes sense.
Bruno Ballers is confused as I am. So ASU now has conference teams in Ohio, West Virginia, Florida. Is that right? Yes, that is 110% right. That is correct. ASU will be traveling to road games and they'll be putting, like 50,000 miles on their jet, this year alone.
Wait, why would they be playing Ohio?
Well, I don't know if it's Ohio, but it's basically East Coast, right? ACC?
ASU?
Yeah.
ASU's Big 12.
I'm sorry, Big 12. It's Big 12, right?
Yeah, but that's mostly Midwest and Texas.
Like
now-
they've got
see, now-
Kansas, they've got Utah, they've got Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, that's Ohio.
So that is Ohio. They've got Oklahoma State,
Which is Florida.
Yeah. What is it? Central Florida is Florida. So they got that game, but they're mostly playing. They got BYU, that's Utah. Most of their games are actually Central. They got a couple East Coast games.
Anyway, Bruno Baller, there's your answers. Aiton's Army brings this to the text line at 888-368-1580. Aiton's Army says, I see both. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's not Aiton's Army. This is it. You guys saw Belichick is dating a 24-year-old cheerleader too, right? Think it's true love? Well, I don't know.
Bill doesn't tell you anything. How the hell would you
Bill
know?
get it? How did he land a 24-year-old, first of all? And a cheerleader at that point? I mean, isn't Bill like 70 something?
Yes.
It must be that yacht that he has. It's got to be that.
He's rich.
Well,
he's incredibly wealthy. That at least gets you in the door.
Well, he's wealthy and he's got that yacht that he just loves to go out on.
Right.
And yeah, who knows? Hefty Lefty says, I see both ASU and U of A are ducking the mighty Lumberjacks during week 1. Well, yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say ducking. I would say that now that you have a much larger conference that plays their games differently, where they rotate their schedule a certain way, you're going to have to figure out different ways to get NAU on the schedule. It'll probably happen. Eventually.
All right. So that's enough college football for now. Let's change the subject. Speaking of college football and this thing being a mess, Conor McGregor withdraws from UFC 303 because of an injury. You believe in it?
I mean,
you believe in that, Keon? Because you're the fight guy here.
Yeah, I'm not as big a UFC guy, but yeah, I mean, I believe it because I do think Conor likes being, the guy, on top of the sport and the
dumpster
guy that
fire
everybody's talking about.
Yeah, he needs to be the dumpster fire.
Part of that includes actually fighting. So I don't think that he would back out of that unless he was actually injured. Just seems like the best course of action there for him. So
maybe we're going to find out there's another assault or a rape charge that's coming forward. He's going to have to pay attention to that.
Maybe, but I don't want to assume that without, information. I just don't know.
McGregor last fought UFC 264 in July of 21 when he lost a trilogy fight with Dustin Poirier via TKO after breaking his tibia at the end of the first round. It's been more than 4 years since McGregor has won a fight and nearly 8 years since he won a title fight. Is this like a money grab for him? I feel like it is. I feel like it is a money grab for him.
He's got plenty of money. After that fight with Floyd Mayweather, that unless he somehow wasted it all, which I guess I wouldn't put past him, but he should be fine financially. Yeah, obviously he's going to get some money, but the UFC doesn't pay fighters well. So it's not like you're getting a ton of cash necessarily for showing up to this fight. So much as I think that Conor doesn't like being out of the limelight. I don't think he likes being out of the attention. I think that's what this is more about than the money for him.
You notice it doesn't say anything about the injury itself. Conor McGregor said on the X that in consultation with the UFC, today's press conference was canceled due to a series of obstacles outside of our control. I apologize to my Irish fans and fans around the world for the inconvenience and appreciate all your passion and support. I can't wait to put on the greatest show, blah, blah, blah. Conor McGregor, love and kisses. I think I think he's hurting for money and he needs something to get him going again.
I really doubt it. He's got his whiskey business going, the Proper 12.
I thought he sold that.
Well, if he sold it, then that's even more. He shouldn't be out of money.
Yeah.
Now, maybe he could be. People do waste their money. And if there was somebody with a personality that could somehow lose all of that money, it would be his. But I doubt it.
It's been a long time since he's been in trouble. I mean, certainly something's got to be happening here. 888 368 1580. Let's check in. Harry Soap says Bill Belichick is dating a 20-something. Has he yet cracked a smile? I mean, you would
probably. The people who know Bill Belichick personally say he's pretty fun. He's got a very dry sense of humor, but he is actually funny.
Well, people were saying the other day at the Tom Brady Hall of Fame thing, people were saying when Bill walked out, it was an odd situation with the owner there, old Rub and Tug. Kraft.
I don't think
it was very awkward between Kraft and Bill.
I think Bill thought he had some football left in him, to coach, but
clearly he didn't.
But he thought so, and Robert Kraft fired him. So there's going to still be some weirdness there. I don't know how it could not be. You get fired from your job, even if you weren't doing well. It's going to be hard to, be friends with the guy who fired you.
Vermont Dogs is on the text line. Our good friend says, "Yo, check it. The Bears win a Super Bowl with Caleb Williams, the next coming of Christ."
Can we let him play an NFL game first?
Then he says, "Check it, yo. Conor McGregor needs to go to the great IFC retirement home in Florida and hang him up."
I mean, he does, but that's not how that's ever worked. Fighters always fight too long. That's the rule.
Yeah.
There might be some exceptions, but that's the rule.
Big George says, "I hope ASU racks up the frequent flyer miles with the conference road games over the next 4 years. They'll be able to afford a business select fare on Southwest Airlines in no time." By the way, what's a Dutch roll, and why did a flight from Phoenix to Oakland suffer a Dutch roll recently? The hell, George? What is a Dutch roll? Isn't that an aircraft? That's like an aircraft maneuver, isn't it? A Dutch roll? Like where the aircraft does something? I hope it's nothing dirty, but Big George usually doesn't
Dutch
do anything.
roll is an airplane maneuver that involves simultaneous yaw, which is the side-to-side motion, and roll, which is that, seesaw motion. Why? I don't know.
Something broke on the aircraft, or the pilot just got bored. I don't know. I mean, a Dutch roll. Whee! Let's wake them up today. There you go. We got a lot to talk about in a short time to get there. Have we already run out through this segment? Good night.
Yeah.
All right. Got a few more texts on the text line. We got more to talk about. We got some NFL. We got some NBA. And DJ Rodman, yeah, you heard it. DJ Rodman says he's ready for the NBA after a workout with the Golden State Warriors. So talk about that next here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 124th U.S. Open Golf Championship, sponsored by Prevagen. All over but the shouting in the second round at Pinehurst number 2. The scoring average today, 72.6, down from 73.25 in round 1, and the result is a bunched leaderboard. Ludwig Oberg, finishing at 5 under, was at or near the lead all day long. The Frenchman Matthew Pavon also close to the lead at -5 as we speak. Behind them, a cavalcade of stars at 4 under, including 2020 U.S. Open winner Bryson DeChambeau.
I think 4 under is going to have a really good shot. I just don't know the conditions the next few days. If I had a crystal ball, and maybe it goes to 10, I have no idea. But certainly, I feel good about where I'm at. If the conditions are the same as they were today, 4 under is going to have a really good chance.
With this report on the U.S. Open, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sports.
Todd is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Todd, and I live in Georgia. I'm a veteran of 23 years. I love to give back to the community, whether it's my fellow veterans, some guy on the street corner. I offer what I can when I can. I started noticing that my memory was slipping, and I wanted to take proactive measures to try to help that. I saw a Prevagen commercial, and I did some research on it, and I wanted to find out, does this stuff really work? I started taking Prevagen about 3 years ago. Since taking Prevagen, I feel clearer in my thoughts, my memory has improved, and generally just more on point.
Prevagen is available in stores everywhere without a prescription. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Do you need equipment for your business but don't have the cash? I can help. I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used equipment. Excavators, forklifts, dozers, tractors, cranes, plows, and more. If it's essential to your business, I will help you get the money you need. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. That's 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
Your home for sports.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Yeah, Bruno Baller, I think you're right. A Dutch roll sounds like something you get in Amsterdam, one of those coffee shops. Yeah, that's true. Are we live? I'm sorry. Welcome back to the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. It's a Friday, and we're just about into our third hour. We've got a little bit left of hour number 2. We'll be on until 6 o'clock tonight. Killer Rabbit wants us to know that, by the way, my Jayhawks have lost the past 3 times we faced ASU. Ugh. You mean football? Football or basketball? Killer Rabbit. After he left, he said the pilot was watching some rodeo and thought, I wonder if this metal tube can buck like a Brahma bull. See, I think it's a very slow kind of a roll. And it probably freaked out all of the passengers, I'll be honest with you. The good thing is they were able to get it back to Phoenix and land the thing. It doesn't, when it happens for no apparent reason, you're kind of like, everybody, get back in your seat and we'll be landing shortly. Can you imagine the guy on the toilet in there? He really had to go or something. He had airport food and he was just, his stomach was really upset. And all of a sudden, the aircraft does this Dutch roll
where it's basically wobbling and going side to side.
Right.
Everything that you had in your stomach would soon be out of your stomach.
Oh my God. Yeah. Can you imagine that?
I'd like to not to.
We're not trying to disco dance here at 38,000 feet. We're just trying to control the aircraft. So if you would please have a seat and buckle up, that would be great. I could hear that going on right now. I was flying into Dallas one time. I was going to a conference. I was on Southwest Airlines. We were coming in. It was really bumpy because it was windy outside. You ever been on a flight when it's really windy outside? And we're coming in and the thing's all over the sky, man. It is all over the sky. And this guy is trying to get it landed there at Dallas Love Field. And all of a sudden, and I am not joking. I am not making this up. All of a sudden, I felt the aircraft lose lift and we started to fall straight down. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't like that. That sounds bad. That sounds.
And we were coming in, man, like we didn't have a whole lot of altitude to give here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the guy lands it and the stewardess gets on the way. Whoo! Well, that was a fun landing, huh, everybody? Welcome to Dallas. Whoo, that was really good. All right. And I just looked at the guy I was traveling with to this conference. I just said, bro, any landing you can walk away from is a good one.
That's true. That's true. But for her, she was trying to be as professional as she could be. She did not
does this
say
all day.
all the things that she wanted to say in that moment.
Whoo, that was fun.
she's in her head were a bunch of words we can't say on the air right now. I'm sure.
No kidding. 888-368-1580 is the text line. You're the fourth dimension. Be a part of it. You've only got about an hour and 10 minutes left. DJ Rodman, who originally began playing basketball at the D1 level, I think it was with Washington State. He ended up eventually at USC. He only started 12 games, averaging 3.9 points and 3.3 rebounds while shooting 32.7% from deep. In his final 2 years, Rodman started 58 of 63 games, averaged 29.5 minutes a game, 9 points a game, and 5.4 rebounds a game, made 37.2% of his threes. He recently just had a workout with the Golden State Warriors. And DJ Rodman, you might ask, who is that? Yeah, it's the son of Dennis Rodman. And DJ was part of a 6-player Warriors pre-draft workout Thursday, and turned back the clock on when he first began playing basketball. He said he didn't go shoot arounds with his dad because his dad wasn't in his life. His dad really didn't know him. And he would watch his dad on TV on a show called Hardwood Classics on NBA TV. You remember that one? Hardwood Classics? I think they still have it.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that. Yeah.
So as a 10-year-old, he would study these old tapes, man, and he would learn how to play the game. And then apparently he got good enough. He's 6'7". I'm sorry, he's 6'5". And apparently he was impressed with the way he played against other potential NBA guys that he feels at this point he's ready for an NBA career.
Best of luck to him. I don't know that he's getting drafted.
Spent his, again, I told you his background, Washington State. He ended up at USC. And offensively, Rodman became a strong spot-up shooter. Now he's just hoping to show teams he's more assertive on offense. He's told every team he's worked out with that he's become significantly better, and wants to showcase his skills more as a wing. You know, did they do that to Bronny? Did they make him play his dad's position? I think that's terrible if they do.
No, I don't think they're going to make him do that, because you use players for what their skill set says. I think Bronny's going to probably wind up playing a similar position to his dad, but not because of their relationship as father-son, just because they're kind of built the same way.
I thought LeBron was bigger than larger, taller.
He is, but Bronny is sturdy. That's a solid kid.
Oh yeah, he's solid. He's got a solid frame,
and he's got a long wingspan. So you can put him on a number of different players. Like people who are interested in drafting Bronny, it's about the defense. That's why you're interested in Bronny James more than the offense. So I don't know if you even have to be that strict with where you put him on the floor, honestly.
I guess DJ Rodman ended up playing as an undersized 4. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but that's what he came out of college as, an undersized 4. You think that maybe a team takes a chance on him, picks up an opportunity to take him in, and maybe he plays some G League ball? Or
yeah, I think he'll probably not be drafted, but teams will then go after the draft and try and sign the remaining free agents and see if they can develop somebody. And yeah, like that, there's going to be a spot in the G League for him to be able to develop and show what he can do. And if there's something there, he'll get his opportunity if he keeps working. And what you really hope for if you're a player like that is that you get extended that 2-way contract where you get to do the G League and you get to play on the NBA roster as well. And you bounce back and forth between those things. It gives you a lot of opportunities to play and really improve and work on your craft.
His sister is playing on the U.S. women's national soccer team.
She's really good.
And she's damn good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just an insane athlete.
Well, I mean, is it any wonder that she's an insane athlete? I mean, look at her dad.
Yeah.
But, maybe DJ can get on with the team. Maybe his dad will come out. Maybe they'll, square up this relationship a little bit. It is what it is. DJ has no hurt feelings, he says. He understands. And he's just trying to make a way for himself in the NBA. I hope him best of luck, man.
Yeah, he seems like a really good dude. From just the stuff I've seen him, he seems like he's willing to work. It's just I don't think he ever
seems like he's a
wound
hard
up
worker.
Yeah, and he has been a good shooter. 40% shooting in college, something like that. I like him. I don't know that he's not going to be drafted. I don't think. I didn't see anything when he was at USC that showed me that he was going to probably be taken at the next level.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that there's no pathway there. It even may be you might have to play in Europe for a little bit and then come back.
Sure,
but whatever the case is, he's 23 years old. I find it hard to believe no one is going to take a chance on him. He's young enough that there's still something that you can try and figure out there.
You guys remember Calais Campbell, who was the big dude on the defense for the Arizona Cardinals, played with us for some years and then kind of drifted out and has been on many teams. I think last year he was on. I thought he was on the Ravens. I could be wrong.
I think he was the Ravens let him.
Oh, he was
walk
on
last
Atlanta.
year. Yeah,
Atlanta last year. The Falcons. So anyway, Calais Campbell, he's finally coming back to where he played college football. That was at Miami, the University of Miami. The second round pick of the Cardinals in 2008. Spent 9 years in Arizona, 3 years in Jacksonville, 3 in Baltimore, and 1 in Atlanta. For year 17, he's going to the Dolphins. He signed on a contract. The 38-year-old signed a contract, and he's going to be a part of the Miami Dolphins defense. So good for you, Calais Campbell. He's always a good dude, man.
Yeah.
He's always seemed to be very level-headed. He's very involved with the social programs that the teams have. He likes to go out in the community, likes to help out families. Always seems to be volunteering for something. To show support,
I don't know if he's ever won it, but he's been nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year a couple of times.
Many times. Yeah. But anyway, congratulations to Calais Campbell, man. I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope it is a good move for you. Vermont Dog says Trinity Rodman is a fantastic soccer player. Yo, that family has some damn good genetic material. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. Harry Soap says, saw this on X this afternoon from the Warriors flagship station KNBR. Klay Thompson was unfollowed. Klay Thompson has unfollowed the Warriors Instagram and removed Warriors content from his page. Maybe having a stroke here, Ken. I'm not sure. You might have to take over. This is something that happens from time to time with these athletes when they're trying to work out a deal. And I think Klay feels like maybe it's time to move on. And I think he thinks more about his skill set than perhaps what other NBA teams feel. And I don't know, Keon, what's your feel on this? You think that he's moving on, or is he playing a head game?
I think he's moving on. Now, granted, I don't think that that's the reason why. I don't think him unfollowing them is the proof. Just the way that the Warriors are set up financially, they're not going to overpay for Klay Thompson. I think they'd love to keep him. I think they'd love for him to be a Warrior for life. He's obviously one of the reasons why they were able to win the titles that they did, but he's not that player anymore. And they're just not going to pay him the money that he wants. If he had taken the contract that they offered him last year, it would be more than what they're going to offer him this year. They're not going to give him very much. There are teams that want him, but again, I don't know that it's going to be for the money he wants, but it might be more than what Golden State's willing to pay. I hear the Orlando Magic are very interested in Klay Thompson, but they're not going to pay. They're not going to overpay for Klay.
They're not going to pay him as like a superstar, are they?
No, they're not. Like they've got a young roster of guys. They want a veteran to come in and show the young guys how it's done and offer maybe some shooting.
Yeah, but he was awfully unstable last year, wasn't he? I mean, he was hit or miss.
He was inconsistent, but that's the reason why you wouldn't have him be your number one option.
He wouldn't be. He wouldn't be 1. He wouldn't be 2. He wouldn't be 3 on that Orlando team. He'd be
All right.
4 at best.
All right. Well, thanks for the update on that loss. Toby is on the text line, 888-368-1580. Sean Claus, are the things Latino parents throw at the kids as discipline? Huh?
That's it's the perfect team name for a team in San Antonio. Because
See, my dad threw cowboy boots because that's all he wore. It wasn't some flip flop.
I went to my friend in his house in high school, Ryan Rodriguez. His mom threw slippers at him, basically, and she had infinite slippers. She just kept throwing them at him. It's like,
Kept
where are
coming
you
at him.
pulling them from now? Did you already throw 2?
All right, that's 2 in the books, 1 to go. When we come back, we'll talk some NFL. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 The Fanatic.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 124th U.S. Open Golf Championship, sponsored by Weber Grills. Get the griddle that stays ready, not rusty. Fire up the Weber Slate rust-resistant griddle. Playing in his first U.S. Open, Sweden's Ludvig Åberg posting at 5 under to hold the lead at Pinehurst number 2. Åberg, 8th at the Players, 2nd at the Masters. The 24-year-old is 1 shot ahead of 2020 U.S. Open winner Bryson DeChambeau, who is joined at -4 by Thomas Dietrich and Patrick Cantlay. Matthew Pavon of France had a bogey finish. He heads to the weekend at 3 under, even par 70 today. The cut at +5. Brooks Koepka birdied the 18th to make it on the number. Francesco Molinari aced the 9th, his last hole of the day, to make it on the number. With this report on the U.S. Open, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sports.
Because you want to hear bacon and eggs on your outdoor griddle, not the scraping of rust. Introducing the Weber Slate rust-resistant griddle. Stays ready, not rusty, with a carbon steel cooktop, pre-seasoned and ready to cook on right out of the box. The Weber Slate heats evenly edge to edge up to 500 degrees. All you'll hear is the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Slate rust-resistant griddle just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
What seems to be the problem?
Doctor, thank goodness. My husband found out Cricket Wireless has 5G plans starting at $15 a month, and his jaw just dropped.
Did he hear about Cricket's blazing fast 5G?
Yep.
What about their reliable nationwide coverage?
Yes, that too.
I see. Unfortunately, there's no cure. But you will have really fast 5G.
Get jaw-droppingly fast 5G for $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Video may be limited to SD. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply. Subject to change. See store for details.
QFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
Quiet, people, settle down because it's time.
For what? Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to hour number 3 of this Friday edition of the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, as we broadcast live from the Harman Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Right over there, that's the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio. That's Keon Rhodes. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is on holiday today, going to the Museum. where he's trying to ascertain and maybe get involved in and perhaps abscond with a petrified piece of dinosaur poo. You are the fourth dimension texting in at 888-368-1580 as we get this hour going. We were talking college football last hour a little bit. We ended the hour with DJ Trinity and DJ what's his name? Rodman. But now let's talk a little college football because this is something that's starting to stand up here. The elite football programs around the country are chasing 5-star recruits and in hopes of amassing dominant players at every position. So far, only 9 have verbally committed, but Ohio State holds 4 of those commits. Here's what Ohio State has. Tavian St. Clair, who's a quarterback, offensive tackle Carter Lowe, defensive backs Devin Sanchez and Naeem Offord. Those guys are already on board with Ryan Day and his staff in Columbus, Ohio. LSU and USC hold 2 5-star commitments apiece, while Florida State has 1. I thought with this whole NIL thing and I thought these guys coming in that this was going to cost money to these universities to get these elite athletes. Am I wrong?
You're not completely wrong. I think that's part of it, but I don't think it's just the money, because I do think that a lot of these guys are still looking at this as a platform to get to the NFL. And if you want to get to the NFL, you've got to play in front of NFL scouts, NFL eyeballs. Ohio State is one of the schools that's going to give you that opportunity. Obviously, LSU and Florida State have a bunch of 5-star commitments as well. Those are places you go to get in front of NFL decision makers so that you can make the real money. The NIL money is nothing compared to what you're going to make as an NFL player if you play your cards right. So it's a 50-50 thing. I don't think it's just money. I don't think a bunch of players are going to the school that's got the most money and that's offering the most. It's the money, but also an opportunity to make it to the league.
I thought these programs signed more 5-star recruits than this, but I was
there usually aren't that many 5-stars in a class.
Yeah.
So you're already dealing with a rare group of people.
I guess Georgia in 2018 and USC in 2004 hold the record of 8 5-star signees in a single class. Here's the latest right now, the number 1 class in the nation with 8. Well, I don't think this is it right now. From 2018 with 8 5-star recruits was Georgia, who had 8. USC in 2004, who had 8. I don't. Latusi Latui, I know him. I don't really know any of these other guys from USC.
Yeah, but that's because every 5-star doesn't necessarily pan out in college. And then the ones that pan out in college don't necessarily become NFL stars. Like that's still, it's still tough to get there. There are people who, develop late. So they maybe didn't look great in college, but, or didn't look great in high school, but then they get to college and fill out. And if they were built like that in high school, they absolutely would have been a 5-star. It happens often enough. I mean, it matters getting the 5 stars. It's not a completely useless thing because you're trying to get as many talented human beings as you can. That is the name of the game in college football. Always has been, always will be. You don't start there. You've got absolutely nothing. So you swing at the guys that obviously are athletically rated high, and you try and get as many of those guys as you can.
Well, it's an interesting look at things right now. I guess Ohio State is hoping that they're going to get more and more. I remember Ryan Day when the first recruit signed, the first 5-star recruit signed this year. He was holding a press conference at SEC Day, wasn't he? And they told him, and he was like, "We got him."
Yeah,
That's surprising.
The Big Ten media day there.
Yeah, was it Big Ten? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I said SEC. I meant Big Ten.
And yeah, that's part of it. I mean, this is the reason why people leave college football, or even college basketball. That's why I thought it was possible Dan Hurley might be the head coach of the Lakers, because recruiting is a year-round thing now. You never really get to stop. You recruit, you go to people's houses, you travel all over the country, you're away from your family for months. That's outside of the season. And then after that, now that we've created this transfer portal, you've basically got to keep recruiting the guys you already recruited to make sure that they're still happy and want to stay.
Yeah. Because a lot of guys are using that transfer portal.
Yeah, you promised that, because it used to be coaches could just lie to you and just tell you, oh yeah, no, there'll be plenty of playing time for you, and then you never see the field.
Yeah.
And you just had to sit there and take it before and figure out a way to maybe earn your way on the field or something. Now it's just like, oh, I'm not getting on the field. I will go to a place that will.
Wonder how many potential superstars we never saw because they didn't make it to the field and they never got drafted. And they ended their college career, and that was it.
No idea. Do you know how many times the Michigan promised Tom Brady the starting job and then they yanked it from him? It happened just about every year he played at Michigan. Every year he thought he finally earned it. No, somebody else is taking the job. Oh, we don't really give the job to a freshman, except this guy, who Drew Henson, I think, who went off to end up playing for the Yankees anyway. So and then came back to be a bad NFL player too.
It's just amazing all the changes that are going on in college football, and we're still looking at programs that are getting 5-star recruits. I would have thought this whole thing changed.
No.
I would have thought this whole thing would have been completely different now,
Absolutely not. And the reason why is because they were already paying players.
I know that. Yeah,
so all we've done is put it on top of the table.
Yeah.
The schools that were good before NIL now just get to be open about the same thing they were doing before. There's no program that wasn't doing it to some extent or degree that wasn't winning anything. It was Bama, it was Texas, it was Georgia, it was Ohio State, it was Penn State, it was all of them. It was all of them.
All right, 888-368-1580 is the text line, and it is open for you, and you can text in and tell us what you think in the 5 o'clock hour as we head for home here. Wait, what, Big George? What are you saying? The third hour is brought to you by diarrhea. Something have experienced myself today.
Okay, TMI. Sorry about that, but also I didn't really want to know that.
It's not sponsored by diarrhea. See, it is not sponsored by diarrhea. Sorry, Big George.
It seems like a very bad sponsorship to associate yourself with. So.
Yeah. All right, 888-368-1580. Moving along here. So this is we're still in the kind of the free agent signing, contract extension part of the NFL season. And we haven't really seen a whole lot of activity, but Alvin Kamara, how surprised am I that he is not happy with his current contract? And he is told his team as much, and he has decided he's not going to do any more practicing. He was not on the field for the final mandatory minicamp practice, and the reason why is because he wants a new contract. He has 2 more years remaining on his current deal, a 5-year, $75 million extension that was signed in 2020. His upcoming cap hits are 18.5 in 24, 29 million in 25. That according to Sport Track. The Saints and Kamara. The Saints and Kamara. I lost my place here. Oh, here it is. The Saints. I hate these advertisements that come up, because you're reading and then all of a sudden, bam, the whole page moves. The Saints and Kamara have been discussing a contract restructure for months now. but the two sides haven't made progress recently. So, Alvin Kamara says, that's it. I'm done. I'm out. I'm until you guys pay me, I'm done. I don't know how to feel about this. It doesn't seem wise with the CBA that says, this is a mandatory minicamp and you will be fined. And it was signed by the union and the NFL. So Kamara didn't really have a big year last year. He played in 13 games, caught 75 passes for 466, and he ran for a career low of 694 yards. He averaged 4.5 yards per touch in 23, which is the lowest of his career. And now he's going to walk off and demand a new contract. If you're the Saints, do you say, well, see you?
Yeah. I mean, he's a running back. I hate to say it that way, but this is not the climate to be a diva running back. You have never been more replaceable. And I'm all for paying the guys that are playing at an elite level. I still think that if you have a running back who is elite, your Saquon Barkley, your Christian McCaffrey, I still think you pay those dudes. Derrick Henry in his prime. Like you pay those guys because they don't raise your ceiling. They don't make you a Super Bowl team, but I think they raise your floor. They can make you at worst a playoff team if you've got the right situation around that. Like Derrick Henry for years was carrying the Titans into the playoffs, and they honestly, outside of him, that offense didn't have any business being there. Their defense was also really good, but like he raised the floor of that team, so it gives you something to build on. Alvin Kamara hasn't played like one of those dudes in a long time.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
So to me, it's like you're not worth the money, and now you're going to be a headache too. But I'm not feeling like I have to pay you if you don't show up to camp. That's cool. We'll move on without you. He just doesn't have the leverage to ask for what he's asking for. He's 28 years old now.
Yeah.
If for some reason he ends up missing a bunch of time, which is going to cost him a boatload of money, he better come out on the other side of that with a contract.
Yeah, I think
Otherwise,
this
it's
was
just a waste of time for him.
I think this was a really stupid move on his part.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
If I'm his agent, I'm like, what are you doing?
And if his agent told him to do it, I'd fire him. Yeah. That's a bad idea.
The funny thing is, I don't think so, because I think when he found out what Christian McCaffrey was making, he's got a big enough ego to believe that he should get paid the same thing, if not more.
When you put up those numbers, you'll get that paycheck.
Right.
There was a potential out in the contract between 23 and 24. The team didn't take the out. That was it. That was your chance to force your hand. Trying to do this now, teams are doing OTAs and stuff like that. Like the Saints are the reason they can't pay Alvin is because they're stuck in cap hell.
Yeah, this is one of the problems.
They're in a bad spot. I'm sure they'd love to give him at least a little more money, but he also hasn't performed at that level. Like just financially, it wouldn't make any sense. None.
19 touchdowns over the last 3 seasons. 19.
6 this year for a guy that's supposed to be essentially the focal point of the offense.
Well, in his first year, he scored 13. I mean, I know that was 2017. I know that was his rookie season. I know that he kind of blew it up in his first year, but 19 touchdowns in the last 3 seasons.
I mean, in 2020, he had 21 of them. So they were kind of hoping he'd get back to that, and he fell off a cliff and hasn't gotten close ever since.
Well, and then he had the off-field issues.
Yeah, but that's his fault too.
Well, I know.
Like that. So it just, I don't know. I don't think that the team ought to pay him. I don't think the team will. If they do, it's going to probably just be a restructure. It's not going to be a brand new contract or an extension. But dude, you do not have the leverage to try and make the play right now you're trying to make. You just don't. That's just the reality of the situation.
All right, 888-368-1580 is the text line. We're going to take a break a little early this time. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little more NBA. We got some more NFL. The Astros have parted ways with the former MVP. We'll tell you who it is next here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The NHL Stanley Cup Finals continuing on Saturday night. The Edmonton Oilers hosting the Florida Panthers. Florida has had their way with the Oilers in this series, up 3-0, and they have outscored Edmonton 11-4. The Oilers are trying to force a Game 5 in this series, while the Panthers are looking for the 4-game sweep in their first ever Stanley Cup title. Edmonton minus a goal and a half plus 210 on the puck line, while Florida getting a goal and a half minus 260. On the money line, Florida plus 104, Edmonton minus 125. Over under goal total 5.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-364-1031 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-364-1031. That's 800-364-1031. What do you have to lose? Call 800-364-1031. Again, 800-364-1031.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-8787. That's 1-800-280-8787. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-8787. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harman Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harman Solar Podcast at harmansolar.com.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Haley Linder on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. As we head for 6 o'clock on this Friday, hope you're safe and sound and traveling home. Text line rolling along here. Rattlers fan, number one Rattlers fan says, the running back position is one of the easiest to fill through the draft time and time again. And that's been proven. The Saints should have never have paid Kamara so much.
Well, I disagree with that. After what he did in 2020, you can't get that production in the draft every year.
5 years, $75 million, though. I mean,
that's not
I know it's not now.
The 75 wasn't all guaranteed, and when the cap goes up over time, the deal ages well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think 5 years 75 was a problem. The problem is he's not happy with it now. Like, that's the problem. I don't think that their problem was that they paid Alvin Kamara. They're not bad because they paid Alvin Kamara.
No, I didn't think they're bad. I just think that there's a better way to go about this. And I think if I were the Saints, I would have kicked him free as soon as he had the off-field thing, and I would have drafted another running back. I mean, seems like they've had ample opportunity to handle Alvin Kamara. This is not the first time he's done this.
Yeah, it's not, but
he gets his nose out of joint because somebody gets a higher contract, and then his ego is so inflated. He feels like, well, I'm worth that.
That guy's been producing, though. Like, the reason you pay Christian McCaffrey, and I understand what you're saying, like but the team has to stick with players that like are good. He is a good football player when he's fully healthy and fully locked into a season. But the fact is, he hasn't been for the last 3 years, and that's a problem. So no, they shouldn't pay him.
Alvin Kamara, look what the Cowboys did with Zeke. You would have never thought Jerry would have turned Zeke loose after what he did with him.
Yeah, well, football people have to step in at a certain point. I don't have a problem with paying players. I'm not one of these people that thinks that you can replace any running back with any other running back in the draft. I think that's crazy.
Maybe not, but
you absolutely not. You can play.
He hasn't shown his former self since he got paid.
Yeah. And I think that that's their problem for not having a succession plan in place. Because, I mean, he's 28. Like, this is when all of the data suggests running backs start to decline. You should have had Alvin Kamara 2 in waiting. That should have happened already.
I mean, that's just bad management over there with the Saints. But
they're so
we kind of know that, right?
Stuck financially. There's just not a whole lot they can really do, and they had a whole bunch of holes to fill. Like, I understand why maybe you don't reach for a running back when you've got defensive issues, when you've got a quarterback problem you've been trying to solve for ages, and you still haven't solved it.
They clearly did not prioritize the quarterback situation that they've had there since Drew Brees left.
Well, they did prioritize it. They've just been wrong. It's been swings and misses. Yeah. I mean, Derek Carr was supposed to be he's got a massive contract. They clearly prioritized it. He's just not good.
888-368-1580. Kyle G says, new contract. Shouldn't Kamara be in jail? Well, there's that.
Well, there's the other issue.
The other issue. Big Shores says the Diamondbacks are going up against Chris Flexen of the Chicago White Sox. 2-5 with a 5.06 ERA. Ryan Nelson is starting for the Snakes. 3-5 with a 5.96 ERA. Going based off pitching matchup, looks like the White Sox have the edge tonight. By the way, what kind of last name is Flexen? What is he flexing? Well, now see, Big George, I'm gonna have to give you a whistle on that. I really didn't want to do that. But I see what you're saying, but I mean, come on, Big George. And they might have the pitching edge, but Ryan Nelson has been, he's been pretty good over the last couple of starts. It's not always the pitcher's fault when you lose a game. You got to have offense. You got to have run support. And a 5.96 ERA is not the worst thing in Major League Baseball. I think Ryan Nelson, I'll be honest with you, I think people put too much on the ERA. That's just a marker on what you have done so far this season. I don't think you can base your decisions on an ERA. What you try to do is match up pitchers against the batting lineup that you have. And you got to have, when you are as bad off as the Diamondbacks are right now with pitching, you got to go. You got to run somebody out there. You're going to run out there. I mean, Ryan Nelson has been he's been at least able to go out there and take the ball every fifth day or so, and go out there. Now, is he getting his ears lowered every time he goes out there because of the balls that are zipping by his head at light speed? I don't think so. I mean, again, I am unwilling to give up on this team. I am unwilling, based upon what I've seen And based upon what I've seen this team do from the player's standpoint, I'm unwilling to give up on this team. Are they going to win the West? No. Nah. Although the Dodgers are not playing good ball right now. That big lineup that they invested all that money in. I was hoping that wasn't going to happen to the Dodgers, but it looks like it's unfolding again. But there's still a lot of baseball to play. Lots and lots of baseball. I think, maybe they have the edge tonight. Maybe not. Maybe Ryan Nelson goes in there and throws a gem. And this Chris Flexen kid, he serves up some meatballs to Christian Walker and Ketel Marte. And I don't know, maybe Jacques Peterson gets in there again. And who knows? Randall Grichuk, maybe he sends a couple of long bombs too. Team seems to be hitting the ball well right now. I don't know. Okay. Maybe they have the edge. They shouldn't, though. Diamondbacks should win this game tonight. And if they want to have a chance at playoff contention, I think they need to win these types of games. And I'm not just saying, just before the All-Star break. I'm saying the rest of the season. And it seems like to me the Diamondbacks don't do that. They give up games they should be able to win. But what has been consistent for this team? Their offense. And, by the way, their bullpen. Yeah, I know they've got one of the worst ERAs in the league, but the bullpen has been just bullets lately. So we'll see what happens tonight at the Bank One Ballpark at the Bob in downtown Phoenix. I think we have not seen what this baseball team can do yet. I think we saw it on opening day. I mean, we certainly saw in that first series against the Rockies. Good night. All right, so speaking of baseball, the Astros have released former AL MVP Jose Abreu with a close to $30 million amount left on his contract. You might remember Abreu was on the team when all the trash can banging was going on and the secrecy and the magic cameras and the all the the piece that these guys were wearing. Well, he's not doing well this year. He's batting less than 100. He's 37 years old. And he's owed $19.5 million salary for this season, also $19.5 for the 25 season. And the Astros have fallen on some hard times lately, trying to keep some of these players. I mean, the window's closed for the Astros, clearly. But you'll have to wait and see. Anyway, Jose Abreu has been released from the Houston Astros. Let's talk NBA basketball, Keon. Tonight, I don't give me your thoughts yet. Let me just pour this out there for you and kind of set the stage. But Joe Mazzulla says that Kristaps Porzingis not quite there yet. This was from Noah Dalzell on the X here just a little while ago. And says Joe Mazzulla says that Kristaps not quite there yet. We're going to make him available only for specific instances. Boston has a 3-0 lead.
Mm-hmm.
All the confidence and momentum in the world. Dallas hasn't shown that they can beat Boston. Kristaps Porzingis has a quote-unquote rare injury. Now, I know he's a gamer. I know he wants to go out there and play. But his whole career has been like this. It's been one injury after another. But when he plays, I mean, good night. The other night, he looked amazing before he got injured again. So why even risk Kristaps going into the game? I mean, unless you're down by 1 point late and you need Kristaps to go in and, with a clutch block or something, why would you put him in the game?
I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about. He said specific instances. So if they're winning,
He's not going out there. That's just not happening. But if there happened to be down late and could use the size and the rebounding and the rim protection, he might find himself out on the floor. But it's a specific instance kind of thing. And so I don't really have a problem with that because, sure, Dallas hasn't really shown they can beat Boston, but game 2 was close. And if Dallas had any ability to close out games and Kyrie wasn't playing the worst basketball of his career, they might have won game 2. And they should have won game 3. That was their game. The comeback, the momentum, they had it until, as we saw, Luka lost his mind and over the course of the game didn't play any defense either. But like Boston has these moments where they can't seem to score and they can't seem to move the ball. Kristaps can kind of be a spark plug for that. I wouldn't play him unless you were down and needed the energy. Other than that, keep his ass on the bench.
You're up 3-0. You're in Dallas. Dallas has to beat you at least once, maybe twice before I even consider. If I'm Joe Mazzulla, before I even consider putting him on the floor.
To me, if I think that putting him on the floor will help me win, I put him on the floor.
All right.
I've got them on the ropes. Just finish him off.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. Jeffrey,
I understand that
Jeffrey
logic.
agrees more with you. The way when we talked about it earlier, when the injury was first reported, Jeffrey agrees more with you. I'm the person that's just like, look, if you have somebody on the ropes, put them away. Any means necessary. I'll second guess it all later.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me, but
it would have to be an emergency. We know the state of the injury. Obviously, if you get the chance to win the title, you'd love to try and win it again. So you'd love for Kristaps to be healthy enough to give you a shot at a second run at the thing. But if you have a chance to end the series and you think Kristaps Porzingis can do that in whatever situation that requires, I put him out there. But that's the only situation.
So what do you look forward to tonight in game 4? I think this series is over. You can put this series on ice. I like that. Use my catchphrase right there.
There you go. Yeah, I think we're done. I think we're done here.
Is it close though? Because I know that
I think the individual games have been close. I think it's another close one. Especially without Porzingis there. Boston just gets stuck in neutral for large chunks of time in games. It happened in game 2. It happened in game 3 on that 22-2 run that Dallas was able to go on. It's probably going to happen again. But Boston's been able to weather that storm too. So I just think that Boston's role players are performing better than Dallas's role players. And their bench is doing a lot more than Dallas's bench right now. And that's been the difference maker, that Boston has basically dared those role players from Dallas to beat them. And the Dallas role players haven't been up to the challenge yet.
Does Luka control his emotions tonight? And does he indeed play like he's having fun? Because that's what he said. I have to control my emotions. I can't take my frustrations out on the referees. I hurt my team, and I've also read that he's apologized to his team for what happened in the last game, and he vows to go out there tonight and play, and have fun. He says.
I think you're going to get the best of Luka. I mean, he hasn't really had a bad game this series on the offensive side of the ball, but I can't stress this enough. They're not winning anything if Luka's going to play defense like he's been playing it. He hasn't defended a person in this series. And he needs to start tonight if they want to do the impossible and come from behind 3-0.
Who's going to be, if Celtics win it tonight, who's the MVP?
It's Jaylen Brown. Jaylen's been the best player
just
in this
open
series.
And shut. You didn't even hesitate. You just Jaylen Brown.
It's Jaylen. He's playing like he's the best player in the entire series. He's all over the place, offense and defense, big time blocks. He's jumping passing lanes. He's the one that when they get stuck in neutral, not Tatum, it's him, that he's the one that actually decides, you know what, screw this. He puts his head down and goes to the basket and kind of breaks them out of some of the ruts that they get caught in. To me, it's clearly Jaylen Brown. And like from game 1, I was like, I feel like Jaylen's the best player in this series.
tonight's Game 4 live from Dallas. You'll catch it on the TV or the radio, wherever you might be. And I think you're right. I think the Celtics ultimately win, and I think the Celtics go out with that mentality of, we need to finish them here. Do not let them back up off the canvas. We need to finish this here and now, and we need to do the kill shot. I don't know if it's going to be a close game or not. It depends on how the referees are going with Luka. I mean, if he's getting all the calls and he has a big game, he puts in 50, and maybe Kyrie somehow gets his mind straight and he can put up 30, and you never know, man.
Yeah, Kyrie had a really great game in Game 3 as well. It's lost in the story of how Luka behaved.
Yeah,
and the fact that they were really close to pulling off a come from behind victory that would have really given them some momentum in the series. Lost in all of that is that Kyrie did play well. He shot the basketball better. He was much more aggressive going to the basket. He didn't let Derek White and Drew Holiday bother him too much. He did what he had to do. They need it again, but they also need Luka to start stepping up.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. It's just a matter of time now, and it will be on tonight, Game 4, and we'll find out what happens. I think the Celtics go out and take care of business tonight. I think they will be focused. I think they will be hungry, and I think that they will do what needs to be done. I don't think they want to send this back to Boston. I don't think they want Luka and the Mavericks to get back in this. Remember, the Phoenix Suns had these guys down, and they came back and won. The Phoenix Suns had the Mavericks down, and Luka said, "This ain't over. We had one game to win, one." And Luka that night said, "This series isn't over yet. It's not over till we say it's over." And they came back and won that series and sent the Suns home.
No team has ever come from behind down 0-3 in the NBA playoffs, but statistically, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's the thing that you're going to be saying if you're the Mavs right now is like, well, why not us? And you go out there and you play the game that you know you're capable of playing. It's the game that you've been playing the whole way to get to the finals.
Yeah.
You just need to sprinkle a little bit more defense on top of it.
All right, we'll see what happens. Game time tonight, and you will see if the Celtics can close this out, go home champions. That'll be a great plane ride home for them, wouldn't it? All right, 888-368-1580. When we come back, there was more that meets the eye when it came to Hurley and the Lakers. I'll tell you what I mean by that next, here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 124th U.S. Open Golf Championship, sponsored by USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable. In his U.S. Open debut, Ludvig Åberg of Sweden is alone in the lead at Pinehurst number 2 at 5 under. 3 players at 4 under, including former U.S. Open champion Bryson DeChambeau, Thomas Dietrich, and Patrick Cantlay, the 9th-ranked player in the world who looks ahead to the weekend.
This golf course is going to play very challenging over the weekend, especially with the forecast that we have. So being smart and being patient, it's inevitable that there's going to be some mistakes made, but that's just part of playing U.S. Open.
At 3 under, 2011 U.S. Open champ Rory McIlroy and Tony Finau, 2021 Masters champion Hideki Matsuyama, the low round of the day at 66. With this report on the U.S. Open, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sports.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us. at easterseals.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off Super Paint products and Super Deck stains from June 14th through the 24th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
If you hit, pass it, dunk it, shoot it, check it, throw it, putt it, or block it, then we're gonna talk about it. I like that! I just thought I'd clear that up. 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
As we head for 6 o'clock here on this Friday, this is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. Jeffrey O'Brien next Monday back in the house. And right now he's still on holiday. It's the sexiest man in sports talk radio, Keon Rose and Randy White, with you alongside as you drive it home. So Dan Hurley, A, back-to-back national championship winner. B, offered 6 years, $70 million from the Lakers earlier this week. I think the pressure is starting to get to his wife. Andrea is his wife. And according to Dan, said Andrea got, quote, violently angry, end quote, during the Lakers' courtship of the UConn head basketball coach. He said that when he came home and was talking with her about this, she was, quote, she was like crying in the beginning. I think initially, the first couple days of it, she got violently angry and emotional, not like hitting me and stuff. She got emotional like, I can't believe you're bringing this. Our life is so great. It's perfect. Our lives couldn't be better. And now you're bringing this bleep? End quote. He didn't say bleep either. Our lives couldn't be better. And now you're bringing this blank. So she was bad in the beginning, says Hurley, and then apparently, as the trip went on, the Lakers sent a jet for him, and they jetted out there, and they walked around with Rob Pelinka, and she met Jeannie Buss, and she felt the weather. They drove around Manhattan Beach and just met the people mostly, and she saw the vision. And so I guess she eased up at the end and she got into it. She was good with it. Wonder what she did when he came home and said, I've turned down the $70 million.
I think from the sounds of it, it sounds like she was okay, with that the money doesn't seem to be the issue there with her.
It doesn't say here what she did when he,
yeah, it doesn't say that. I don't think he's going to necessarily say, I think she's probably happy about it.
He did say it was a good trip. She really eased up. But then when we got back to Connecticut without having made a decision, and we got back home and we both flipped back to, we're not leaving. We're staying here at UConn. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful part of the country. Why not? I mean,
it's a beautiful part of the country. It's a small town, which, Storrs, Connecticut, where UConn is located. It's a small area.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to live in LA, if you can believe it or not.
I would believe it. Yeah.
The traffic,
everything going on there. Like, you could make a ton of money being the Lakers head coach, but then moving your family, moving your kids. Some people like small towns. Like that's just a thing, like Nick Saban. A lot of people thought that maybe people could lure him away from Alabama before he won all those titles there. But no, you're in Tuscaloosa. His wife loved being in Tuscaloosa. That was a small town woman. That's what she liked. And it seems like Dan Hurley's wife is a similar way. You're already winning. You go to LA, there's going to be not just the city itself, but there's going to be a bunch of drama with the Lakers job too.
Oh,
You're gonna be
there
in the
is
news every single day. Whether you're winning or not, ESPN's going to cover you. Like, it's like it does bring a level of circus to your life that perhaps she didn't exactly want. I
I personally think he made the right decision for what it's worth.
As long as him and his family are happy with the call.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't have anything to say. I just think there are advantages to staying in college. There are advantages to going to the NBA. What do you prefer?
All right. So in other NFL news, congratulations to Dan Hurley and his wife Andrea and their 2 sons. So if only Dan could talk to Bobby and help him out, give him some pointers or something.
Pointers. We'll see. Bobby's got himself his best recruiting class yet. If it doesn't happen this year, and by it I mean going to the NCAA tournament and winning a game or 2, ain't gonna happen, man. I have doubts.
So last night, the Kansas City Chiefs, under the secrecy of late evening, showed up at a museum at the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in Kansas City. And the Chiefs got their individual Super Bowl rings last night. This is a back-to-back championship, so you would imagine that this thing is a real big, ridiculously large, gaudy piece of jewelry, right?
Yeah.
All right, so
without question.
So I'm trying to look up and see what the stats are here. Travis Kelce was there, of course. Mahomes was there. I'm trying to get the stats on this thing. Something like 530 diamonds all around the ring. If you haven't seen it, it's got rubies inlaid in the top of the ring. It's on the sides. It's got back to back, and it's got the score, the overtime score, 25-22, Kansas City over San Francisco. It's got the Super Bowl, LVII or whatever, III or whatever it is. On the top, world champions in a shape of a football. It's got the arrowhead, which is inlaid with diamonds, and KC, which is on top of the arrowhead. So their logo, and it's in rubies. And they have the 4 Super Bowl trophies on the top of the ring. And then around the outside of the football, it's all rubies. And around the whole side, it's diamonds again. Now, of course, because everybody has to have a ring that opens up now. 529 diamonds, 38 rubies. It opens up. The top opens up. And what it shows you is on the top, it shows you the play that won the game for them. On that little 3-yard pass that they won the game on. The play was called Tom and Jerry, and it has an outline of the play on the inside of the lid, and then down underneath it, it's got all these Super Bowl trophies that are loose, and they kind of shake around in there. It's supposed to be giving homage to that play that won them the Super Bowl. I mean, just ridiculously large.
Yeah, it's essentially bracelet weight.
Oh my God, it's huge.
But for your fingers.
It's huge.
Did you hear that there might be a typo?
Now, see, yes, I did hear that. Why don't you tell us more? Because I was going to get there, but yes, there is a typo on the ring.
from the official video that the Chiefs showed, they have the scores of all the games the Chiefs won on their way to the Super Bowl. And one of the scores was when they played the Dolphins in that ice cold game in Kansas City.
Yep.
And it has the Dolphins as the 7 seed, which is interesting because the Dolphins were actually the 6 seed in the playoffs, not the 7. That was the Steelers. The Steelers were 7th. So now forever immortalized in these gaudy, expensive rings with rubies and diamonds, and it opens up and there's 3.
And got this elegant piano music under it to show you. Go ahead, Keon. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Underneath all of that,
is
a mistake about the very first game they played in the postseason. Like it just, the typo couldn't have been anywhere else. It was right there. The Dolphins, not the 7 seed. They were the 6.
I also noted when they opened the ring up, on the outside, it lists the 4 Super Bowls Kansas City won. Of course, the one in, what was it, 69? And then the last 3 in 19 and 21, 20, or 22, 23. But they didn't do that on the inside of the ring. If you look on the inside of the ring, it just lists the 19, 22, and 23. It doesn't list the 1969 win. Interesting.
I maybe that you're trying to make it more specific to these players, but I don't know. It just seems like an odd choice.
Why would you put it one place and not put it somewhere
not the other? That's why I feel like it's an odd choice. If in fact it was a choice and not a mistake, which we have at least one already, which puts the whole thing in doubt.
So there it is, the Chieftains random texter. There you go. Your guys got their Super Bowl rings, and I'm sure you're standing by the mailbox waiting to get yours.
It's a good problem to have. You'd rather have a Super Bowl ring with a typo in it than no Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, no kidding.
Poking fun a little bit, but good problems.
Let's do this before I run out of time. It's on this date, ladies and gentlemen, in Big George's sports history. 1974 at Anaheim Stadium, Nolan Ryan strikes out 19 Red Sox in 13 innings, including Cecil Cooper 6 consecutive times to help the California Angels win a 4-3 victory over the Red Sox in 15 innings. Nolan Ryan, ladies and gentlemen, 19 Boston Red Sox batters in 13 innings. That's all. He pitched for 13 innings and struck out 19 batters. And boy, if you're Cecil Cooper, you're trying to forget that game, right? Talk about winning the Golden Sombrero. He was 0 for 6.
Cecil agrees.
Cecil agrees with that.
Look, it's a fellow Cecil. He has to.
Yeah, he doesn't like Nolan Ryan, apparently. Have this from the files of This Is Not a Way to pass into the next life. I know we got about a minute or so. Apparently, what happened in small town of Kirkland, 2 men were pronounced dead at the hospital. They had been identified as 33-year-old Nathan Duty.
Oh, no.
And Tyler Memory of Tully. The men were not employees of Champion Farm. Apparently what happened, according to the Kirkland Police Department, the KPD, Kirkland PD, responded to the farm on Champion Road for 2 individuals found unconscious inside a manure tanker. The initial investigation found that one of the males tried to retrieve a piece of equipment that had fallen into the tanker. When the male went to retrieve the equipment, he passed out and fell inside the tanker. What a crappy way to go.
Oh, my God.
The second person attempted to get help. However, he also passed out and fell into the tanker. That, I'm sure, would be Nathan Duty. Ladies and gentlemen, don't try to climb in and fish anything out of a manure tanker, please.
You just, it's a bad idea from start to finish.
It's just
Nathan,
not the way to do things.
Dying that way that's no way to die. But being named Nathan Duty and dying that way is,
Nathan Duty. Sorry.
Rest in peace, Nathan. But my God, man,
Here, Bob takes offense at. Are you sure the typo on the Kansas City rings are a typo, or did they just put the numbers for the players that were actually on the teams during those years?
No, they put the seed. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. The thing that Randy played
1969.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Because they put the full run on the outside, but then just the 3 years on the inside.
Yeah.
Just seems like an odd design choice.
Thanks, Big George. Same to you, my friend. And same to you, Fourth Dimension. We'll see you back here Monday on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Westwood